So today, um, my producer likes coming with very fire topics in jail that I don't know how to go with them. But bear with me today. I'm gonna need most of your expertise, Kabile. I've already asked Girl with the Gap, so please come with your expertise. I'm doing okay. I'm doing very well. Kahile. No complaints. Having my first cup of the day. So see a winner. We are winning. One gena or producer one. Okay. So no pressure, Kabila. I just know that your guys' expertise here will be very relevant in today's topic. Very, very relevant. But you see now, my graphic designer will not be able to join me today, and I can't do the question thing here. Please, those who care to educate me how I can add text and put it here, let me know so that I can do the things. Otherwise, it's gonna be rough. Hello, Jabulani. Thank you for joining in. Okay, so today's topic. Oh, let me greet you, everyone who might, don't know me. My name is KG. We are indeed Makaya Randown. We are here Monday to Friday, 20 past 10, and we have conversations about anything and everything that builds us, that contributes positively in our lives. Things, and sometimes it's questions, sometimes it's topics that are a little bit controversial but need to be had so that we can educate each other, we can grow, we can become better citizens of this community. So please join in. You can request to join the panel. Simple rules when you join in the panel. You await your turn, you mute your mic, and you do not speak over anyone. You will speak once it is your turn, so we don't want any commotion as we continue with the discussion. And also, if you disagree with someone's opinion, please do it so respectfully. There is no need to attack a person's character, especially people you don't know. Don't call them names and whatnot. Just address the opinion. You can disagree with your opinion, and that is that. If you feel that is too difficult for you to do, you can reserve your own opinion, and just keep it calm and cool, and let's have wonderful conversations. So a guy who's going on Sharp Luvi. What's up? So yeah, let's do that. Request to join the panel. The question of today, or rather the topic of today. Hey, girl with a cap, baby, you're listening, and it's cultural differences, right? Cultural differences in intercultural relationships. Cultural differences in intercultural relationships. Did it end in tears or you're thriving? Hello, Tandy. Cultural differences in intercultural relationships. Did it end in tears or you're thriving? Please join us. Let's have this discussion. People have preferences in life. Some will say they prefer dating their own. Some don't mind crossing cultural lines, even ethnicity. So I just want to hear, for those who you tried it out and you want to share the outcomes with us, let us know. What has been your experience and how is it going? Maybe you could advise a couple of people. Girl with the Gap, did I not say that I'm going to need your expertise? So please, ma'am, Please don't leave me like that. Really, now don't run away. So please, let me know cultural differences, right, in intercultural relationships. Does it end in tears, or are you thriving? Let us know. Request to join the panel. Otherwise, ngizokufaka nje ungafuni. So let's have the discussion, y'all. Xebile, I'm not buying that story. Morning, Masilo, Sharon M. We appreciate you joining us today. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Cultural differences in intercultural relationships. What has been your experience? Have you seen flames? Is it working out? Ketantaga, welcome. Emmanuel D, welcome. Let us know. Caesar Simani, welcome. So, Zwagalani guys, let me know. Cultural differences in intercultural relationships. How's yours going? What has been your experience? Did it end in tears? Or are you thriving? Ooh. Just need to charge my machine. Let me know, guys. Did it end in tears of Ganshani? Alright. I see noted the girl with the cap. It has always ended, but I love intercultural relationships. Okay. Not necessarily in tears. That's great. Good to hear. That is pretty cool. Let us know. Okay. Let me try a background change here. Bear with me. How has your experience been? I've got a day vibe stealer. Just give me a sec. Mazishe. There we go. There is the topic for the day. Join in. Let's have a discussion. Cultural differences in intercultural relationships. Did it end in tears or you're thriving? Let's hear from you. As for me, it's a very I think I have dated beyond cultural lines, and there was nothing that was an issue from a cultural difference situation, particularly because for me, I think the most important thing is language. Yeah. I want to be able to communicate, and I want us to understand each other. I want to understand you. I need you to understand me. So if we have a common language that we can speak, we are thriving. See, right? We are moving. And that has been for me my thing. So by virtue of that, I've realized that, or rather in my experience, there has been an inclination to date within my cultural circles. Um, from a language perspective, and there's added advantages in a sense of there is less clashes. Yeah, relationships are very dynamic in themselves. They have a lot of things going on, and if you add other things that cultural differences, language differences, and things like that, bring in different nuances, yeah, that might make it tricky for people to navigate. But I think in our country, being the rainbow nation we ought to be, we just have a lot of languages, and it has made it a bit easier that at least most South Africans speak more than two or and understand more than 3 to 4 languages. So it makes things a whole lot easier from a dating and relationship aspect. So, but yeah, for me, that has been the case. I got married in my own cultural circles, or my cultural circle, and it made things easier. The process of getting married was much more smoother. There are certain things that you kind of know. Oh, and worse, in my case, it was just not in my cultural circle. It was even from my hometown. Yeah. So a lot of things were pretty similar. A lot of things were pretty similar. We understand each other, understood each other from the get go, and yeah, so that's what made things a whole lot easier. And yeah, so for me, language pretty much important. Can we discuss, can we talk, can we, girl with the gap was like, what if you want to gossip about the other person in your language? Which other person? As in your partner? Why would you want to gossip about your partner? Ah, my producer, why would you want to gossip about your partner? um so yeah, so for me, I think it's that's what makes things much more easier when the language is there, common language that we can both talk in, and then nuances also of the different cultures also play in. So female do says, personally, I haven't had a problem yet, but I know a friend who didn't undergo lobola because of this. Okay. All right, all right. I don't know if you would be able to share a bit more on that. That would be very interesting to hear. I personally do not know people who could not get married purely because of cultural differences, and even just dating generally. I don't have people that I know who broke up purely because of cultural differences. So yeah, very interesting. Good morning, Abuti Senzo. I see you. How you doing? How was your weekend? Musendele WhatsApp, Uliro. Musendele WhatsApp. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, she's on the same timeline, I think, as us. So Musendele WhatsApp. They got married, but they didn't pay lobola, and it was a huge problem. Ah, okay. Now that's even a very okay. All right, this one is rough. Hey, so yes, here we are. Cultural differences in intercultural relationships. Did it end in tears or you're thriving? Let us know. Let us know how things are going. And Sunny Bonani Kaya. Hello Nabuche. How are you? How was your weekend? Let's share the live, guys. I'm only seeing 5 shares here. Let's share the live so that people know that we are not on break today. We were just on break yesterday. Yeah, bo. Nathi sinama government benefits kulo msebenzi wethu. I'm a holiday. Morning now, how you doing? Indoni yamanzi hello hi. Thank you for sharing, Kiachila. So let me know, guys. How did it go for you? Have you dated outside of your cultural lines? How has the experience been? Did it end in tears? I think Dipulela, you said it is difficult. What is difficult? What is difficult? What was your experience, ma'am? Yes, Lady G. Let's go. I also know that you are much qualified for this conversation. So please, give us your take on the topic. Give us your take on the topic. Have you dated outside of your cultural lines? How were the cultural differences? Barakidi culture shock. When people are traveling abroad or living abroad, they always do these videos about cultural shocks and whatnot. Maybe now you experience these cultural shocks. Just Thunder, thank you for joining in. We appreciate you for honoring the invite. Sad, it's actually fun to date different cultures. Okay, right. What's fun about it? Let us know. Lady G, they shock you into permanent silence. Not permanent, man. Yeah, we can't be having silence in relationships. How are you doing, Tando? My name is KG. Thank you for joining in. We are Makaya Rundown. We are here Monday to Friday, 20 past 10, and we have wonderful conversations. So join in. Munyani, Malim Kali, we see you. Okay, Serge says we discover things we never knew about others. Definitely. I remember, I don't remember who it was. Someone was, I don't remember who that person was. But anyway, we were having a conversation about, I don't remember the topic of the day. But they were sharing the thing of, in that particular culture, I believe it's possibly one of the cultures in Zimbabwe, that if, and some South African cultures also do the same, if you stay with a person and basically you don't marry them, you don't lobola them, and you're cohabiting and they pass away, they will not be buried until you lobola them and marry them. So that's something that we learned the other day. So definitely you might not know these things if you are just dating within your cultural circles. So that was a very shocking thing for me. Yes, Sense, were you not there on that live? Guys, you must go to YouTube. Someone who does remember, I forgot what question we were asking, man. Someone who does remember, please let me know what topic we're in, and then check it out on YouTube. Just search Makwai Rundown. It definitely was not more than a month. Yeah, probably within a month or month and a half ago, somewhere within that timeline. So it's not far. Check it out. So they say if you cohabit with this person, you are basically living with this person, not you are married. If they pass away, you will marry the cops. Literally, the person who was telling us was like, they took the coffin, take it to Ukai's family, put it by the gate. They sat there the whole day. They're like, this person cannot be buried until Yes, Ndebele. I think that's who the person was telling us, like it was cultures from Zimbabwe. I know, so it wasn't Ndebele. I was not sure if it was Shona or Ndebele who were doing it. So even in Ndebele do it. So yeah. The question was, tell us something people don't know about your culture. Yes, Tebile. You see you. Number one. So this was the question we had on the day. So if you go on to our library on YouTube, you will find this particular conversation. Way out never. I'll sense. But death has already done us a part, angithi, girl with a gap. So basically, it's a case of you, I think, and my apologies, no offense whatsoever to the people who practice this, but I believe it's a case of you were dating our child, you did not marry them, you basically sucked the life out of them. So even in their passing, please do the right thing. So that's how they do it. You get what I mean? So yeah. How do you marry a person in death? No, guys. It's basically a case of you must do right to this person who has passed away. You lived with them, they bore you children, and all of that. So basically you're not running away from your responsibility. So that's basically it. So zomkhipela malobola. I don't know what other things get done in that whole thing, but basically the family will not leave. They will leave the cops there by the gates, or they will not leave until the lobola is done. Anga. Here's your topic, mama. Here's your topic. Come and shine. We see you, Mbaliona. So yeah, and culture comes to play. How do you marry a person in death? My own death, or am I free to remarry? So in terms of remarrying, I'm assuming you could still remarry. I would think they're balancing the scale in a sense of two people who are married and one dies, the other can marry again. And we do know that sometimes in the cultural space, so for example, if a wife passes away, and no, let me do it another round because I'm not. If the man passes away, and the family of Ukai allows the lady, or says to her, listen, you're still young, if you want to marry, we give you our blessings, continue thing. But culturally, whoever is going to marry the widow will have to pay lobola, not at her family's place, but at her late husband's family. Because essentially, when she was married into the family, she became part of the family. So that lobola gets paid to that particular family. So I think it's more or less a similar thing, where we do this. So that is what you learn. You probably marry them traditionally, pay lobola. Yes, this is the case that the woman passes or the man. I believe both. It should be both. It should be both. Such drama. Why didn't they come fetch me while I was cohabiting and asking for lobola? Alright? So it's tricky. But in any case, those are some of the things that you will learn when you are dating outside of your cultural lines. So yeah, okay, no, if the man passes, the woman doesn't pay lobola. Ndu, I'm not sure which one are you answering. So the woman would be required to lobola the man. I don't understand. Okay. See now, this is not my culture, Luna. So I can't really speak into it. But this is what we learned, that this is the case. So I think it's applicable to if a man took a woman, stayed with her, and she passed away, he will have to lobola her before she's buried. Right? So he has to do right by the family. That's one. I don't know if it is the other way around, what then happens. So yeah, so that is basically the case. But someone who knows, come in and let us know. So that is basically that. But let's not also stray away from the topic. Here we are. Here we are. Cultural differences in intercultural relationships. Did it end in tears, or are you thriving? Did you date? Did you marry outside of your cultural lines? Let us know. Female
I'm
do.
not kidding. I'm not.
Hello,
Hi,
hi.
how are you?
Very well in yourself, mommy.
I'm good, thanks. Did you enjoy your long weekend?
Very much so, very much so. Had a concert on Sunday that made me realize, Kuti, I'm just youth by Gazette, and yeah, it's the strength is no longer there. Strength is no longer there, but it was pretty nice.
Ngiyasiqala, ngiyasiqala ngoba Father's Day ngifuna ama-Father's Day present ngama-youth nebo-youth niyini ngempela? Kwenzakala
According to South African law, when you're under 35, we youth, married or not, we youth. So please give us everything that is owed to us. So that's that. Give us your opinion there, Mdu.
so yeah, like I did say before, I do know about that Ndebele culture and I've seen it being done. They do that. You will lobola the corpse of the person and it will be a normal lobola. Like they will charge you as much as they would have charged you when the person was alive. And
Hmm.
charge extra, they will charge you even extra for intlawulo yokuthi you didn't do it on time. You didn't do it while this person was still alive, especially if the family knows that this person was living with you. It's even worse if the person passes away in your yard where you were living with them, whether you were renting, whether you were wherever. But if this person passes away in your arms, like under your care, it's even
Hmm.
worse. It's
Makes
worse.
sense.
So, and these are the things that we don't think of when we go siyokipita, when we go to do amafat and said, we don't think that if I die under this person's arm, it's my family is going to be so harsh on them. They're even going to require me or request me from this person. Bazongifuna kuye this person. You understand? We don't consider those things, but yeah, those
Yeah.
are some of the cultural things that do happen. But I'm here to share a story of a friend. So the reason that I was taking so long was because I had to ask the friend if I can share the story,
Thank you
right?
so much. You must send our appreciation to the friend for allowing you to share.
Yeah, no, she did allow me to share. So it's a matter of the past. They are divorced now. So this friend of mine got married to somebody from Germany, a German man, right?
Okay.
So this man obviously knows nothing about lobola and all of those cultural things that we do as Black people. He
Yeah.
came in to South Africa. They got into a relationship, and then he came to South Africa. You know those dating apps and don't. It was that type of situation,
Yeah.
and then they kept visiting each other. The family knew this lady because she kept
Hmm.
visiting Germany, and if she's not visiting his, the one that is coming this side, no
Okay.
problem, Kena. Time to get married. German people are just expecting a wedding, right? Like you're just gonna have a wedding, you get engaged, and then you go on and have a wedding.
Yeah.
And when she displayed that, okay, in my culture, when you must get married, this is what must happen. The family
Yeah.
was like, no, why are we buying? Why are we paying for you? It was so ridiculous. They like, no, we're not doing that. You understand? And then the
Hmm.
guy made efforts to ask how much would be required from
Yeah.
the family of the girl. And then it was something like 80,000 rands. And the
Yeah.
mother of the guy just felt like they were seeing a cash card in his son. Like they just want
Ah.
it, and it doesn't happen. They actually felt it was a scam. That can't
Ah.
happen. They couldn't believe ukuthi something like that needs to happen. Why must the uncles be involved in this? Why must people be flying all the way to Africa to get a girl? I mean, we can attend the wedding. Yes, we are already coming for the wedding, but why must we now, make it this big deal that we're paying money and all of that? And they refused, right?
Yeah.
So as a result of them refusing, the parents of the girl did not attend the wedding. The wedding was sketchy. Like it was only done in Germany. She was only married in Germany. Here in South
Yeah.
Africa, it was just a party, an engagement party. See, now we thought it
Yeah.
was an engagement party. They, the couple, knew that that was their wedding dinner. Like, see, now we are attending an engagement party. No,
Yeah.
only to find that it was a wedding dinner. And we find out in the socials when they were posting, the husband kept on
Yes.
posting a very nice wedding, stuff like that, like wedding day. Like, the captions you could tell would, these people must got married. Like, this was their wedding.
Yeah.
And then she went to Germany. She had her wedding, a very big wedding, nice and everything. And after like
Mm.
a few months, they broke off the wedding. And obviously, the African people, being us, we believed that it was because it was not done the right way. You know how our parents are. Good, yeah, it
Of
was
course.
because they did things their own way. Ancestors didn't know about this. It was such a big deal. Like, it was the biggest of big deals. I just don't want to go on and on about it because it's a very
Yeah.
long story. But
Sure.
it was a big deal. And to me, it was the biggest cultural shock because I've seen people get married to white people, Americans, whatever, but they still follow
Mm.
the culture of the girl.
True.
When the girl requires, you must pay lobola for me, even though they don't really understand it, they still do it just because they
Mm.
are honoring the girl's culture. But that guy
Mm.
was not about that life, bruh. Like, he was he didn't even want to hear it. Like, it was that thing of what, I don't even want to hear this. And the family also influenced him to not want to hear it. They were like, no, you are just a money bag for this lady. That's why she's requiring so much money from you in order, like, you must also do the wedding and then you must do this
Mm.
thing of theirs. It doesn't make sense. So yeah, the
Mm.
marriage ended, and then obviously to the family it was like, yeah, it's because you didn't do this.
Sure. And the couple Bonavatini, in terms of why they think their thing did not work out.
Obviously, because I don't have access to the men, so I'll only talk
Yeah.
to my friend, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So the guy was that guy who he would call whenever they have problems, and at that time I was one of the closest friends
Yeah.
because her going into the relationship, she lied about our relationship. She said I was her sister. So
Okay.
obviously, if they're having problems, the guy's gonna call the sister.
Oh.
And I would constantly call the sister, being me, and be
Yeah.
like, yeah, this is what's happening. We are like, they were fighting about normal relationship stuff, but
Sure.
because of they hadn't lived together full time. They had seen each other. When you live in different countries and you are
Mm.
dating, every time you see each other, you are happy, you are excited to see each other. There is nothing to fight about. Even if you are fighting, you're not really fighting, you're arguing about something, but then it goes off easily because one of you needs to go back home in like the next week or whatsoever. So you can't afford those fights. But now when you live together, we are now
Mm.
staying together, we are discovering things about each other, and maybe we don't like those things about each other. So to me, it sounded like that. It sounded like nothing that they would let their marriage go for, nothing to drop a
Ah.
marriage apart. But to them, it was much of a bigger deal. They were fighting about petty things, but they
Sure.
still ended the marriage. So to the
So
girl's
this.
mom, it was like, that's
Yeah.
why petty things ended your marriage because Lobola was not done. Like, you
Hey. But now,
everything they
so
became about
this
that.
marriage, they got to a point of getting married. So they never lived in either one's country. So this was a long distance intercontinental in Tonton.
Yeah. It was that intercontinental thing, long distance thing, and then
Yeah.
there were like community. By the time that you moved to this side, which was the woman moving to Germany, by the time that you moved to Germany, I would want us to get married. And the girl then displayed it, okay, for us to get married, one, two, three must happen. And then the guy was like, hell no. that is not happening. And then they were like, okay, we're gonna have an engagement party that side, and then we're gonna have a wedding this side. And then they continued like that with their lives.
Hey, this thing is a bit sketchy. Here's the question I got girl with a gap, right? Hi Gabi. But how was this not a topic of discussion? It's such a sticking point. I mean, at the dating stage, surely there's curiosity of differences in culture and all of these things. And issues of lobola would come through,
Mhm.
if we are talking about getting married or whatever the case may be. So how was this never a conversation to a point where it was such a shock to the family? Because yes, to a guy, if he's talking to his girlfriend and she tells him this, he could easily go and do research, find out that, okay, so these things do happen, this is how it's done in Africa, whatever the case may be, explain it to his family whenever he wants to get married. So how was this
No,
just
the other
skipped?
thing is, the other thing is when we are in such relationships, ne, we tend to do things to impress our partners, overly impress our partners, forgetting our cultures. Women do that a lot.
Mm,
You're out there
okay.
and you feel like this guy is everything that you have ever wished for. You are willing to compromise so much. How it was never a topic, I don't know. How she never introduced it to the guy at some point when they were talking about their marriage or them getting married, I really don't know, Uguti. How did he find out at that point when he wanted to do it that this is how you must do it? I don't understand that part. So to me, it
Yeah.
was, I think, maybe they were not compatible. Maybe
Mm,
man, they lived far apart and they were excited all the time and it was all lovey-dovey. Maybe they couldn't stand each other. But now, because of this was done this way, huh? Now everyone is like, it's because of this, it's because of this, it's because of this. No one is looking at the fact that maybe she should have gone there for 3 months, stayed with the guy, and actually got to date the guy and like really dated the guy up close, unlike this thing, Yama video call and whatnot. Because man, real life is different to that. So to
true.
me, it was maybe they should have not rushed to marriage. Maybe they should have just
Mm.
dated in person first. But okay, to everyone, it was mm-mm. Even if they didn't, these marriages usually work out sometimes for other people. But because they did it this way,
They didn't follow.
not working out. It's the same as when somebody requires or requests their parents to give them their lobola money, and then the marriage does not work out. It's gonna be because you requested your lobola money. It's gonna be because of that. It's gonna be why you tatela abazali bakho imali yelobola. That's why your marriage is not working out because you took your lobola money from your parents. But sometimes it's just not working out. It has nothing to do with the ancestors and stuff.
Yeah, no, but for me, I would in the light of it not working out or whatnot, I personally believe that when your parents and your elders are genuinely happy for you, they're wishing you well, and you are getting married, and wait to miss it and everything. They just have happy hearts for you. That isn't a blessing in itself. But if
Mhm.
then there is all these other things, regardless of whether it is about lobol or anything else, if motsadi ha o phuthulela pelo, your own parent is not necessarily happy for you about something, that in itself can become a hindrance one way or the other, right?
Because
Yeah.
the mother's biggest cry was, I'm not going to be able to now step into your marriage as a parent because to me it's just kimojol. I can't be
Hmm.
communicating with your husband because to me he's not even your husband, he's your boyfriend. Kimojol, I'm not going to entertain Mejol. So even when they were going through stuff, she couldn't communicate stuff with her family because how about entertain a Mojol? They are
Yeah.
not going to entertain girlfriend boyfriend stuff. That's why to me it was okay. Let him know that even if they say 800,000, he can like take out 20,000 and then lenyalo lenyalo
Hmm.
khalifele. He can take out that 20,000 just to recognize and say, um okay, I'm recognizing and respecting your culture. And then go back to Germany and have your wedding, whatever that you guys want to do. That is his side of the culture. You're honoring his side of the culture now. So it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be the whole amount. Like, fill him in on that, or it doesn't have just. let him pay that respect the same way that the parents were willing to come this side for the wedding. They can come, meet
Mm.
the family, give them that amount of money. So the problem was with the money. But why are we paying them? Why are we paying them? You know? And I felt like you're almost spoiled to this guy. Like you've spoiled him to a point where you can't even
Mm.
instill your culture in him. Like ke dilo tse re di irang when we are in relationships. Like re spoila batho ba rena, we forget our cultures and all of that.
Sure. Yeah, no. Very interesting. Thank you so much, Mtu. Much appreciated. Let's hear Anga. Hello, Anga.
Hey, hey guys, how are you?
Very well in yourself.
A little bit fluid, but I'm okay. I'm
Ah,
okay.
all right. We're glad that you're okay. Get well soon, and I'm happy that you're able to even hop onto the panel. How have you been, Mama?
I've been great actually. Yeah, it's been good. Everything has been good this side. It's finally summer,
Wonderful.
so yeah. So
Finally,
yeah,
summer, so no
finally,
longer snow
finally.
and cold. Tina here, we are going into the coldness. It's already seeing flames.
Yo, hi guys, good luck.
I will be all right. So yes,
Okay.
please give us your opinion here.
For me, it's still thriving, guys. Kumnand. Um, with what Usisi just said, I think it is very important when you get into an intercultural relationship or interracial relationship
Mm,
to just, put it on the table. Ukuthi, this is how things are done in my culture. So for me and my husband, for me and my
must
my
be
husband,
nice.
it was
Yes.
on the table while we were still dating, right? We were
Okay.
still in a relationship. So did he did his research as well. And then when he was ready, obviously, then he was like, so how do I do it? And then I
Mm,
asked my mom, and then my mom said I should ask my brother because
mm,
my dad passed on. And then ndamxelela ubana because you are far away, there you have to like write a letter, and then
mm,
you will wait on my family. And then they did everything virtually, yeah, well, online. And then when we came to South Africa, he had already paid lobola. So we did like engagement slash ukwamkelwa komyeni, and it was really nice. It was really nice. He also really enjoyed being in South Africa. He was there for the first time, and he loves my culture. He just enjoyed everything, and he was very flexible, trying everything. Like, is it do
mm.
guys? He was like, no, I know this. We used to eat this when we were growing up as well. Just that
Yes.
as Zindo, they are slightly different. But I love
Different.
and
True.
appreciate that he can be flexible. He was very
True.
flexible, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically that is how it is. Well, obviously
Yeah.
get the lobola part, they the family didn't understand, but he understood. Because I remember,
Ah.
yeah, his mom and dad were like, why are you paying for her, what is this? And his sister was like, actually it's a thing. And I appreciate that culture yake still does these things.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. It's quite
So
great. That's quite
yeah.
great. Yeah,
But
thank you so much for that.
yeah.
And for you, what were the cultural shocks that could not necessarily shock, but things that perhaps you were like, I don't know how I will deal with this one.
um it's the body lotion. Like I didn't understand why engatambisi. Like it doesn't make sense. And also when he's showering, he never washes his legs. Like he will just wash everything like njani. Like and what else? Oh, And this was the biggest one for me. Every time you do kloof kloof, you have to take a shower. Like shower every time. Like, and I'm like, hi bo, hi Andy, Kelangali. If we are going to do it again, why are we taking a shower? And he's like, because, just because. So
Oh
yeah.
wow.
What else?
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
that was it.
Yeah.
That was mine now too.
Yeah.
But he also had his because he was saying that what shocked him is that I put lotion when I am like so that was a shock for him, and
Hmm.
that I look after my hair, like I have a lot of products for my hair. um what else? Oh, and then netawuli, like he didn't understand why I had itawuli yobuso neyenyawo. Like he didn't understand that. Like another thing that he said shocked him was, what was
Right. You are mute in case you are still speaking anger. Maybe you received a call or something. So yeah, I mean, I think I remember I think it was a YouTube thing where this whole thing of people not washing their legs when they're in the shower, and it was a debate type of a thing. Welcome back, Anga. Anga?
thank you, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I think we lost you there for a
Okay.
sec. Yeah.
So yeah, but it's been great. It's been a great experience. I won't lie.
Hmm.
Or maybe it's because I'm blessed, because honestly, his parents are so good. Like they are so
Hmm.
nice. And I didn't have a problem with them, adjusting to the color of my skin and they knew about me before I came, because we dated before I came here.
Hmm.
We met online and then we started dating, and then I moved to Poland, and then yeah, the rest is
Hmm.
history.
That's interesting. And by the way, I know that Polish people's, even though the cuisine will be slightly different, but I think they eat almost everything that we eat also. Like
Mm-hmm.
simple things that we already know, like mkhodu,
Yeah.
manglena, and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. They also know and eat these
Dumplings.
things. Yeah.
Yes. I
So how
think
has that been for you? Yeah.
their food is, yes, we have similar food, but how
Yeah.
they cook it is quite
Yeah.
different from how we cook it. Their
Mm-hmm.
food is really, like, for me, it's tasteless because they cook with a lot of water and
Uh,
less salt. So
sure.
yo ukutya kwabo, I know. As a result, how we cook in our house is quite different from when we go to Wukash's parents.
Sure.
And he
Mm.
he would always say, "Oh, we should have brought our South African spices, baby." And I'm like, "I ungenile, guys, ungenile,
Inside Parat.
phakathi inside."
No, that's awesome. I think it's very great that there is now a nice mixture of cultures. I think for me, I remember when I was hearing about how they use, how they, in terms of amanglena, what they make out of umhluzi amanglena and the jelly thing that has other stuff inside. I was like, that is very interesting. I've never would have thought something like that. So it's quite interesting how they cook also.
Yeah. And someone asked about the language barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi guys. I am learning. He's also trying to learn Xhosa. But at least when he's in South Africa, my family speaks English, so that's good. But when I'm with his family can't speak English. So I'm learning Polish, but guys, it's bad. So we often use like Google Translate. Singabo
Yeah.
basebenzisa Google Translate, or he will just translate in between. But I also appreciate that his parents now are like learning like basic things, hello, how are you, bye bye, like yeah, it's really nice.
That's cool.
But
That's
I
very
can
nice.
I know I have to like learn as much as I can, because
Mm,
they're born about badala to learn another language now. So
definitely. Yeah, no, Polish is also not an easy language. Oh,
it's not. It's
I've
very
heard
difficult.
all those.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
just like, what?
And also how they like alphabet zabo is different,
Yes.
and how you pronounce, because my husband's name is Lucas in English, but in
Yeah.
Polish his name is Łukasz, like, and my family was like, what? I'm like, Łukasz, yeah. And my mom still can't pronounce the surname, and I'm like, oh, it's okay, baby girl, like, just say P. P.
And that's it.
Yeah.
All right. No, thank you so much for honoring us with your story.
All
Really,
right,
really,
thank
really
you guys.
appreciate that. And we wish you all the very best in your union and to many, 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 many more years.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right, then.
All right,
All
I
right, you can
will.
mute so long.
Yeah.
If you want to stick
No,
around, you can
actually,
stick around or you're going to
I'm
go.
not gonna stick around. I am at work, but luckily today we have like a trip. We went
Okay.
to like an Indian village, so I
Mm,
have time to just chill and then check in with the kids, and yeah. But I'm just
nice.
gonna log off. Yeah.
Which Indian village in Poland?
Hey guys, all these Indians are Polish.
Hey,
All these
hey.
Indians are
Which
Polish.
city? Which city or
It's
which
in
town is this?
it's in Wrocław.
Brasov,
Wrocław
it's a
is,
bit of south, close to
yes,
Krakow, yeah?
yes, it is. It is.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
you know your map.
Ma'am, please.
Yes, sir.
I'm dealing with my Polish people there myself. So yeah.
Ah, okay.
Alrighty. No, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, yeah?
All right. Thank you. Bye, guys. Have a lovely
Alrighty,
day.
cheers. Thank you so much. And that is that, ladies and gentlemen. Tell us, what's your experience with your cultural differences, or rather dating across cultural lines? It could be interracial, it could be intercultural. Are you thriving, or hey, it ended in tears? Let us know. How is that? Let me see the comments. Guys, don't forget to request. We can request indeed. Senzuti also, they would fit in Kwamaimai. Yeah, well, maybe they would fit in Kwamaimai. But yeah, I think the Polish, Ukrainians, and Russians also, because of the proximity of the countries, their cuisines are similar. I even understand that there's a bit of fight as to which dish is a national dish to which country. Some feel like no, they stole our food or whatever the case may be. And yeah, so they eat. I always say in my language, and I believe it could be the same with most South African languages, that we say "Kgomo ha ena lebitla," or rather "lebitla la kgomo ke mpa." So a whole cow, gets utilized. So we don't bury a cow. you will make use of every single part of it. So either you eat it or you use the hide, and all of that. So I think they also have a similar thing. And I mean, sausages or wors as we know it, it's around from Russia and Germany, I believe. So this is where we get sausages ideas from. So for them, you know how we eat umkhodu with amatumbu, and they use la amatumbu to make a sausage. So yeah, so those are some of the interesting things that they also do. So yeah, I'm a Russian, yes. I have one of my Russian clients who I was telling him about the joke that happened when I think it was something to do with rugby or something, or the president was coming. I think Putin was coming to South Africa or something along those lines. So there was obviously these discussions online between South Africans and Russians, and someone found out that we eat Russians and chips, and it was a whole thing online when our Russians was like, oh no, they eat humans, because people will be ignorant of Africa. No, they eat Russians. Why would we go to this country and all of that? So yeah, so that is basically it. The whole thing of Russians. So yeah, let us know, guys. Cultural differences in intercultural relationships. Have you dated outside of your cultural lines? And how has it been? Has it been thriving or it ended in tears? Welcome everyone. I see you, Puleng. Matlala, we see you there. Lesihon Dadaza, I hope pronounced it well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me know. Type on the comments or join the panel. How has been your experiences of dating outside of cultural lines? Is it too much? Is it working? Is it not working? Girl with a cap is a pale. You promised you will come to the panel. Right. TK, we see you. Lady Guluva, it's been a while. How are you doing, Mama? Black Mentalist, see you there. How you guys doing? How was y'all's weekend? Let's hear. Do you guys have any experiences here, or ngivalele live kuphela khona lapho? Whilst we wait for the people to join the panel, I'm still stuck on the culture that says marry a ghost. Says why are you stuck, sir? I believe it's a fair thing. Why are you making a wife out of their child, but you're not doing the due diligence, or rather you're not doing your dues, in terms of our culture? In our culture we lobola. In our culture we do everything that needs to be done. So how is it that then you don't want to do that? So then you will definitely come through and marry this person. Let me hear Senzo. How are you, sir?
Good morning, everyone.
How are you, sir? How was your weekend?
It was amazing. It was amazing, bro. I
That's
hope you had
great.
an amazing weekend as well.
Very great. No complaints.
It's great. No, yes, KG. I have to ask,
Yeah.
why is she making a husband out of me, and when I happen to die, she is not required to pay anything or whatever? Because I mean, we've been living together, been taken care of. Why can't she pay back that money? A kaya to say with no. I used him as a husband, So na imali yenu kahle kahle.
Just in the same way that when you get married to your wives, they didn't pay lobola for you.
That's fine. I'm paying lobola to for my wives.
Yes.
Bayaphila nabo, you know.
Yes.
But when it comes to isporo, I khohlwa. You
No,
would find it
but the
normal.
question is, why did you not pay lobola for her while she was still alive? What's your answer? Why would you not pay lobola while she's still alive?
No, but then KG, it's not to say what maybe I did not want to pay. Maybe bengivele ngiplanele ukuthi ngizokhokha in the future, but ukuthi manje-ke sefile-ke mina fanele ngiqhubeke ngikhokhele umuntu ongasekho. As much as you may say what yeah, I used her as a wife, well, she used me as a husband. It's not like ebehleli nje mahhala, ebehleli nje mahhala. I mean, we went 50-50 maybe on things, or maybe even I did my duties as a husband, not
Yes.
just because we took care of the household finances around the house. So I ngeke yabona le, this is the culture. If it was part of the Zulu culture, angathi nidakiwe. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, my language, excuse my language. I'm
But
glad it's not
Sanzo,
part of the Zulu culture.
I'm not hearing your argument. Maybe Mdu will do a better job of explaining this thing. Please Mdu, come in.
You know, Senzo, how are you? Good.
Ngiyaphila sisinjani.
Yaphila, Baba. You know, I hear you and I hear what you're saying. Oguti, I mean, we were living together. It's not like the other one was using the other one, or it was something where I forced her to come and live with me and treated her as a wife when it was not approved by her. It's a decision that we make together as a couple to say, let's live together, right? But now, Mina, I grew up in Gwandebele, ne? In as much as I'm Zulu, I grew up in Gwandebele, and this is where this culture is instilled, right? So what happens is that when we decide to live together, believe it or not, like it or not, the man is blamed for it. That's why even when the girl falls pregnant, the guy will be fined uzokhipha inhlawulo for ukuphula umntana inyawo, even if umthola ngesiyi-virgin, even if let's say you met her and she was not a virgin and stuff like that, but to the parents wena umphula inyawo because you are the one that impregnated the girl, right? That's like it just goes that way. It just goes that way, my brother. There's no way you go to way now when you pass away she will pay, because even when you are not alive she will not be the one to pay. If you are alive, sorry, and you guys decide to get married, she's not going to pay anything. You're going to be the one to pay. So to the parents and to the family, it's like, you took our child while she was alive, now you are bringing us a corpse. And then in all this time, when she was alive, you did not even do right by her. We did not know you as her husband, but she was living with you. How is it that now we must come into your yard and collect our children's clothes and collect our child's clothes from your yard? How?
Did
Silanda
she?
kanjani impahla kwakho, umbekeleni kwakho, you know? So
Okay.
it's that thing yokuthi for them to come and collect, and mind you, they will not bury a person when their clothes are not in the same yard that the person is being buried in, right? So they will need
Whoa,
to come and
wait.
collect that
Repeat that one.
person's clothes. A
Sorry
person does
Mdu,
not get
repeat.
buried. A person does not get buried until every single one of their clothing items is in the same yard that they're being buried in. So if uzongcwatshelwa kubo, let's say the burial is going to be in the girl's home, like the parents' house, right?
Mm.
If wherever that she lived, in the flats or wherever, even if she was living alone, they must go and collect those clothes from that flat and bring them to every single one of her belongings, especially clothes, shoes, things that she used to wear. They must bring them to the yard where she's gonna be buried. They must be there. They can't bury someone while their clothes are in Joburg and that person is being buried in Pumalanga, because it is so believed that the spirit will go after those clothes, will go looking for those clothes and also hoop. That is what is believed
Mdu.
in the Beli culture. So for them
Okay.
to bury their child, they must come and collect the clothes of the child. Ubani oyangena kwa-boyfriend ayothatha impahla? No one. So you must start first by being a husband, and then when you're a husband, the family will then come and collect the person's clothes and belongings, and yeah, basilete ekhaya.
All right. Okay. Do. Okokuqala ne, there was a mutual agreement between myself kanye nendodakazi yabo ne. Right. Umuntu
Exactly,
olethe
not between the parents.
umuntu
And you as a man know that
right.
when you are taking a girl,
It's
Wait.
I'm
fine.
Let
sorry.
him, let him, let him
I wanna
put his
ask you
point
this
across.
question. I wanna ask this question quickly. Ubani othatha iy'mpahla? Is it the parents that come and fetch the clothes noma imina as boyfriend ohambisa
Awukwazi ukuyileta wena, awukwazi
angikwazi ukwenza
ukuyihambisa wena because awukwazi ukuyihambisa. You can't take them there yourself because some people get there, they burn candles, and then they collect the clothes, and then they'll be speaking to the clothes while they are collecting the clothes, right? Through the bent candle. So being that you are a boyfriend, they cannot come to your house and now burn candles in your house. You know,
okay,
they
so
cannot do their cultures in your house. So you need to lobola. And then after you have lobola, this person is recognized as your wife. So then
all
you
right.
can say, okay, I will bring the clothes. As the husband, I will pack everything and bring it. Maybe they will send a sister or umamncane or ingane ukuthi ihambe iyobheka ukuthi are you packing up every single thing now? And then
Fair enough.
nizle.
Fair enough. Right. That's their culture, right? Mina, I find myself in a relationship with a Ndebele lady, right? Oh yes, guys, please tap the screen. I find myself in a relationship with her, and God forbid she passes on whilst we're in a relationship. Kuyo yonke nje le setup esikhuluma ngayo. They want to practice their culture. Am I forced to then abide by their culture to say ukuthi mina fanele mina ngumZulu angisemndebele? Am I then now forced ukuthi I need to pay le lobola as they request njenganomndeni or as the culture requires? Am I forced?
Unfortunately, it comes in as forced, but if you were to do it while the girl is alive, they were
Okay, hold on.
cultural things that you would follow that were the
It's
girl's culture,
okay,
right? And not
hold it
your
right
culture,
there.
because you would be honoring the girl in paying lobola for her. So you would go into this family, mhlampe bathi thina sifuna
It's
iy'ngubo
fine.
eziyi-10 for
Hold on.
and you would do it, right?
All
Hold on.
right.
Yes. If a pillar, definitely, right? I would do it because it's what I want to do. I just because yeah, pillars, we are going to build something together, right? I get that. That's fine. That's fair, right? Our cultures can now then do their part. But me, now my culture does not allow me ukuthi ngihambe ngiyolobola isidumbu, ngiyokhokhela isidumbu. Okay, so bazokwenza nje, are they going to force me? Because I'm not going to do that. If they want to come and take their clothes, and or rather they're refusing to take the clothes, ngenxa yokuthi mina did not pay the, it's fine. I will hire a truck izothatha ibahambisele because I'm not allowed vele emagcekeni akubo. Angithi bazoyithatha whether ukuthi bona wait, hold on. If
Wait, Mdu.
whatever
Let him
belief that
finish
they
and then
have,
you'll respond.
whatever belief that they have, according to their culture, is not, I do not share the same belief system nami according to my culture. And ukuthi bona they feel ukuthi I should have paid or I should pay ilobol. That has nothing to do with me. Mina angeke ngize ngiyolobola isidumbu, angeke ngize ngiyolobola isport. Whether they view that as a disrespect, it is up to them. Mina, my culture says no. Their culture says yes. Now that's where it clashes. This is where we then have to agree to this. If ukuthi kubanjwana ngamawashing, akubanjwane ngamawashing because ngeke ngize ngenze lokho.
But then, you know what is believed? It is believed ukuthi uzokuhlupha lo muntu, and then the family can send the person ukuthi akuhluphe. They can do rituals that will send the person ukuthi ahamba yokuhlupha impilo yakho yonke. And you know what is going to happen is that mase ekuhlupha ubuya when it's okay guys, ngoba uyangihlupha, let me do the right thing. Bazowala bona. But you know,
Okay.
angithi from the beginning, so it's fine. Hlala naye. Angithi vele bufuna ukuhlala naye, hlala naye, uzohlala naye eshonile umbone njalo. Hey, kuzowenzeka izinto ezimbi. It is believed. I have never seen it happening because I have never came across somebody that said, no, I won't do this. Like every time it was instilled, like it's a known thing where I grew up in Kwandebele. if uhlala nomuntu washona lapho or washona anawe or nje kwaziwa ukuthi uhlala nawe uzomlobola and they follow that. But it is believed that if you do not follow that, the family can summon this person to say, "Hambu yomhlupha."
That is fine. That is fine. That's their cultural practices. Nami, I have my own. Where nami ngizos process. Kusho ukuthi kahle kahle la kuyome wentabeni kubonakala ukuthi which culture is stronger than the other. Because or rather which practices are stronger than the other, because there's no way ukuthi nami ngingavele ngihlala nje kade nginomuntu bese eshona kade ngidlala naye and then bese ngiyahlala nje kanjalo. No ways, absolutely no. Of course now I'm going to take measures to make sure ukuthi I protect myself, I cleanse myself and everything else to make sure noma ngabe kuthiwa benzani labantu ayikho into abazoyenza that will bring this person noma bekuthiwa uyabuya uyovinjwa whatever that I did to make sure they don't come near me, right? So akuliwe ngama-culture, akuliwe ngenduku ngokungcono.
Senzo, I have a question. Senzo. Kuti, what about you and having loved this person? And yeah, let's not go into too much detail. You love this person. If you say you were planning on or you were intending to marry this person, what is the problem of you honoring her? Forget the family. Yeah.
I'll tell you, my love for this person and whatever that we had planned to do in future does not surpass culture. It is not above culture. Yes, I loved you, but there's a line that I will never cross. I love you to the core. I love you with every fiber of being, right? But when it comes to culture, I'm not crossing that line. Never. Noma ngabe kuthiwa mina mhlawumbe wayethandana nendodana ka whoever usebhayibhelini namadodakazi amahle. I don't care. Okusalayo, I will not cross the cultural barriers, my cultural barriers, to just in the name of honoring my love for you. Never.
But also, why not honor your culture and marry this child Wabantu while you are still sucking the life out of her?
Now you see, that's the problem, ne? When people look at it as if I was sucking the life out of her, as if she was not sucking the life out of me. We have a problem with that because wait, hold on.
Continue.
We both are in a relationship, a mutual agreement, right? We are doing everything, and as we are in a relationship, maybe I'm even saving what's happening. Yes, siwenzile amaphutha, right? Sihlala ndawonye kungafanele vele kufanele vele kwasekuqaleni ukuthi sihlale ndawonye without ukuthi mina ngize ngiyokhokha or whatever, right? Yes, siwenzile lo, but kulo maphutha I am planning to fix leli phutha leli engilenzile ukuthi listen, I have maybe sengisave mhlawumbe u-30K or whatever or 50K whatever, right? Ngifuna ukuthi ngiyovela. Unfortunately lo muntu abese seyangishiya emhlabeni whilst mina ngisa lo 30K awusayi lapho.
How? But plan ukuya khona lapho muzwanga uyisi.
Yes, akasekho phela yena. Yabona lo 30K awusayi lapho, uya ekhaya uzokondla izingane zasekhaya, uzokondla mina. If uthi I find the next person in the next week ngiyoshada lo yena ngalo 30K, finish. Yeah, man. I don't care ukuthi what honor I have to do, or rather we have to honor our love. What never. I'm khohlwani mina. WeMandebele ngiyasho namhlanje if uthi uyintombi endebele udla ku the life. Khohlwa yimina. Khohlwa. Stick to your ndebele uma ukuthi ngempela you want your cultures to be respected. Khohlwani nje umzungu.
But says enough for me, and this is just my last thing, and then we give Gail the cap. Uguti, you want to stand by your culture and say you will not marry a corpse, yet you don't stand by your culture to marry someone who you have taken to stay in the same house with. And we know, Kuti, even when you don't have the full amount, you still need to, you can still honor by going and, knocking and doing whatever other things that can be done in the process while you are trying to build up this amount that you need to save up to fully lobola her. Why not do that?
Phela ukhumbule ukuthi another thing that we are forgetting ukuthi
Okay.
even within the Zulu culture, to even do that, there are also spiritual ramifications, right? Oh, why mina ngizidonsela amabhadi engingafanele ngami? Because you see, the thing is, with us as the Zulu culture, ukwenza leyo nto kube ukuthi mina ngizidonsela amabhadi, whereas with the Ndebele culture, it is not, right? So there's a difference now. So bona, yes, they can practice it, but right, bona. Me, I do not want no spiritual wife following me in the future. Sengifuna mina ukuthi okay, nangu girl with the gap sengihlangana naye and then I was like, yazi ntokazi. Kodwa manje kufanele ngimtshele ukuthi kukhona engamlobola engihamba naye la, because phela ilithi izwi kumele ukuthi litheni kuthiwa sohlukaniswa ukufa ne. Usefile sohlukana kanjani manje uma ukuthi mina ngiqala phansi ukuthi ngiyamlobola ngithatha yena lo muntu lo ufile futhi ngimsondeza la eduze kwami. Hayi khohlwani makwethu, I never.
Okay, Sharp says let's hear
to Uluna, sorry. If esefile ibhadi lelo. That is why even if ukuthi esefile wena Luna lokho nje sekuyibhadi. That is why you are not even allowed, even within the Zulu cultures. Let's say mina and myself and mhlambe with the gap, we are both Zulus, and mhlambe ngishone mina yena aphile. She's not allowed emngcwabeni wami, same way I am not allowed emngcwabeni wakhe, according to isintu sisho njalo. Bayeke laba bakwenzayo manje, they attend baze bayoqoba okharoti ngolesihlanu kumlindelo yama-boyfriends wabo. Yonke nje loo nto, you are not allowed near the house noma ngithi amagceke boyfriend yakhe sishonile.
Okay, thank you, Butsenzo. And then Mdu, later though, I want you to read Lelo's mom's question here. Then we will discuss that. Girl with the cap, Oza mom.
Hi, KG. How are you guys?
I'm very well. In yourself, mommy?
Good. Ningfunani konje?
We want all of your experiences, please.
Yo, guys. I'll keep it very brief.
Okay.
I mean, personally, it has ended, like I said. It did not end in tears.
Okay.
But I am that one person, or one of the few, hopefully there's many of us, who love dating interculturally and interracially.
Okay.
So mina, I enjoy other people's cultures. I enjoy exploring what they do, their traditions, their food, all of that good stuff.
Sure.
And then, when it comes to the South African gentlemen, abangfuni KG, they don't want me. Abangifuni. So this is not the life I chose. It chose me.
Yeah, I wish we had time for me to understand why I'm funny, but it's fine. Please continue.
No, I don't know. In my very tender age, I've been asked out by very few South African men.
Okay.
So majority of the people who do approach me looking for a serious relationship are always our African brothers, international brothers. So my pool of dating is limited to those people. I have dated a Zulu man. That's literally it. Everyone else was either from Southern Africa, East Africa, West Africa, Europe. So yeah.
Okay. All right.
Um,
Yes, continue, please.
no, that's basically it. That's yeah. I don't
Okay.
have news to share today.
Find it hard to believe that, but it's okay. Question though. So for you in these, because you you find yourself in that pool that you have mentioned, what has there been rather things that you could not go past in terms of it being a cultural difference or a racial difference, where you're just like, this one, it's not working for me.
There has been one in particular. It's a fairly recent experience. I think you might have seen it. Get your own shot.
Repeat,
Like I
please.
say, I usually say that marriage passed me while I was still waiting by the sideway. So this one gent was really
Yes.
looking to get married, but me, I was not looking to get married. And the biggest issue, apart from us having differences, because I'm a child-free person, they wanted kids. Apart from that, he is the firstborn where he's from. So he is half Congolese, half Rwandan.
Okay.
So his culture, when the father passes on,
Don't know if it's
he then
me or I'm really struggling to hear you get with the gap. I've tried to increase my volume. Can you try come closer to the mic, maybe?
am audible now.
Yes, but very low.
But that's because I'm still in the
Just volume on your voice, maybe.
okay, am I am
I,
I
yes, a bit better now. Are you using headsets or are you just using your phone? Maybe that's the difference.
my normal voice?
Sorry? No, no. Oh, normal voice. Okay, cool. Yes. Continue anyway. Let's try and hear.
Okay, I'm so sorry guys if you can't hear me. So as I said, so just a moment.
All right. She will let us know when she is back.
While you wait,
Um, yeah.
do you see Black Methodist comment
I was
saying what
about to
I
go.
broke up with her for attending an ex's funeral?
Oh, okay.
Ayinamadoda semva. If I'm in a relationship and my woman decides ukuthi yena ufuna ukuyongcwaba i-ex yakhe, hamba ungabuyi mama. Hamba ungabuyi.
And it's not the first time that Senzo says this on this
Yes,
platform.
dude.
So he means it with everything in it. He means it, guys.
Hamba ungabuyi. If you want closure between wena ne-boyfriend, hamba ungene ebhokisini and close it. That's your closure. You could never come back. I don't
But
care how pissed you
Senzo,
are.
with DJ's guy's name, I understand. Minanami, I wouldn't attend an ex's funeral, obviously for cultural reasons. But with DJs in there, AKA's family does not follow those cultures for obvious reasons. He's Khaled, right? And Khaleds don't have such cultures. So was she supposed to follow a culture that is not being followed in the man's side?
But what
Okay,
If
first
about
of
her
all,
culture though?
right, then how right, miss?
okay, I'm going to give Girl with the Cap the chance, then we will come back to this.
Please do. Get with the gap, come through, ma'am.
Hi guys. Am I clear now or is it still the
Yes,
same?
very clear. Very, very clear.
Perfect. So this Rwandan gent, father passes on. Obviously, where he comes from, when the dad passes on, he then takes on. I think it's most African cultures, but with them, it's they take it too literally. He then has to become not only the dad, but also the husband to the mom. Not that literally where it goes into the bedroom, but he takes on literally every single responsibility. So this gent had like 4 siblings that came after him, and it was just a no-no for me because that meant I was going to be a sister wife, technically, to his mom, and a mother to his siblings. Add on that he wants kids. But so yeah, that was a complete no-no for me. I could not do that. I think that was the biggest culture shock for me.
I'm sorry, girl with a gap. What do you mean a sister wife to his mom? Like, we all know it's okay, sharp, we'll take responsibility of our parents and stuff, but is it as deep as you calling yourself a sister wife to his mom?
It is because he is, except for the bedroom, except for the conjugal activities, in all aspects of the word, he then has to take over his father's responsibilities. So not only would I be a sister wife, I would be the second wife because everything then goes past him, mom, then me. So whatever dad was doing for mom, he takes that on. And she was a stay-at-home wife.
So essentially, you would then play the bedroom part in terms of being the.
Basically, basically. So yeah, everything, every decision that has to be made has to go through her, and then me, and then the kids.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
kids
no.
call him, like, do his siblings now have to call him dad?
They still call him brother, but yeah, he's the
But
dad.
he's the head of the house.
Yeah, even in the community where he grew up, because his dad was also a pastor, he was, he was a very important member of the community. So the people who relied on the father are now relying on him. So if there is mass, there is whatever, they come to him. Be it that he was in South Africa, most decisions that had to be made in the church have to go through him. All of the farms that they own, whatever decision that needs to be made, it has to come through him. People needing assistance, because the dad did take care of 2 of the brother's children, that's now on him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah. Otherwise,
yeah.
I like Jennifer.
No, I understand when I go with the cap kutia. Even for me, that line will be very troublesome to even consider jumping over it. Because wow, that's a whole lot of things. Especially when you were just like, me, we are just here together, living our best lives. Jiggy jiggy, you are the mother of the community. You are all of these things. That's very intriguing. Thank you so much, girl with the cap, for bringing it on. Let's hear Lebone.
Morning.
How are you doing, Mama?
I'm good, thank you. Morning to
Thank you for
everybody else
honoring
that's on the
us.
panel. Um,
Indeed. Yes,
I
let's hear
have
your
Morning,
opinion.
Lebone.
I have two things to mention, right?
Yeah.
Um, I was I'm Xhosa, right? But I was um I was raised in the Tswana culture, right?
Okay.
Yes. Not because my dad was not around, no, just because there were circumstances where I had to live with my grandparents, and then because both my parents were working in different provinces.
Sure.
So, growing up, right, we were always told that if you have a child with someone and you're not married, and then it happens that the person passes away, you as the mother of the child, you can still attend the funeral of the father of your child, right?
Okay.
Yes. I don't know why, but most women preferred not to, but instead they would send their kids to go do it. You see. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I wanted to explain to Black Mentalist.
Mm.
And then the second thing is that I I dated two guys from Zimbabwe, right? One was from Bulawayo. I'm not really sure which part of Zimbabwe was the other one from, right? And then the one from Bulawayo, the only problem that I had with him is that every time we were in a social space and he was around his people, they would always be communicating in Shona, and I would never like understand what they're talking about or what the conversation is about. And then having to translate everything for me in English was low key tiresome for them, I think.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah. So that relationship ended up not succeeding
Working out.
because of those reasons, right? And then
Mm.
the other guy who I also dated from Zim, well, yeah, we broke up because long distance was an issue and there was a lack of communication and stuff.
Yeah.
But when we were in like, because he knew how to speak Xhosa and yeah, Xhosa, English, Zulu. So I didn't have like the language barrier problem with
Mm.
him. Whereas
Mm.
with the other person, even though he knew how to speak Xhosa or knew how to speak, you know, a little bit of Tswana, he would like never be accommodating to me language wise, and that's the only issues that I had.
Mm.
Yeah. But I
Okay.
wouldn't say it ended in tears. It was just the fact that,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for that contribution. Much appreciated.
Thank
I
you.
think,
I'm gonna
yeah,
step down
not a problem. Thank you
because
for
this guy is
joining
giving me
us.
Please don't
looks
go,
for
Lebone.
switching off the volume.
Oh,
Okay.
Lebone, I think Black Mentalist asked you not to go. Go
Okay.
through Black Mentalist and yeah, let's have the discussion. Let's hear.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, is it
Good
good? Good
morning,
day.
sir.
Yes, good day.
Yes.
So, as I said earlier, I broke up with one of the ladies I used to date back then, because she went to a funeral of an ex. Now, with us as Amazulu, it's that when you go to a funeral, it may look when you come back.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, one, it was this person akaglobalanga. You're not married to them. You don't even have a child with them. This basically the relationship just ended there. Sorry about the background noise. Just sorry a bit.
Fine. We understand.
So it was that whatever closure is as ubudayibekile earlier which if you want closure then just take all your stuff and just go and have closure. Now the reason why we don't allow that or we don't agree with that going to your ex's funeral, be it it's a mother of the parent of the child, it is because like I don't know how to say it in English, but like it's like their spirit bonds with you so much that it can create he can be jealous of whoever that you are with, and you end up not being even be able to maintain a relationship with another man because the spirit of that man is with you. When they were laying him to rest, he attached himself to you. You get me?
Okay.
Now, when it comes to the AKA saga, people are saying AKA Ulantoza Uzintle, AKA did not believe in that whole thing. It was not about AKA, it was about the husband that she's married to, who is a black husband, who took out Ilobolo, who took out Inkomo Zakubo and married Uzintle. So for Zintle to go there, we see that as one of the most disrespectful things that she did. A child could still get emotional support, not in a way that she did, that in a few days, like 3-4 days before the funeral, she was already with the family. She was going up and down to being with the family. The child can get as much support as possible from the other parent. But Now that she's married, now she doesn't fall under her surname alone. She's under the surname of her husband. So that is why it's in Amazulu City, no. So the other reason why I broke up with someone else, this whole culture shock thing. So ekhaya I'm the one who slaughters. So 2 weeks before umgidi, 2 weeks before the ceremony, I basically sit in ukuzila. I don't know what you call it in English. Ukuzila ucansi. Basically, we abstain. Yeah, we abstain for the 2 weeks. The first week eyokugeza ngezinto ukuthi ngihlanzeke. The second week is for me to just remain in that state and be able to basically communicate nabadala if they come to me and tell me how we should do things. So we broke up
So this
because
is
one,
before. Sorry, this is before you slaughter or after you slaughter.
this is before umsebenzi, like before
This 2
the
weeks.
whole
Okay,
ceremony. Yeah.
okay.
So if they say the ceremony is on the 14th, so just on the 30th, I stop copulating or indulging in sexual relations. And then the first week ukuyogeza, the second week because siyaphahla, kuloku kuyenziwa utshwala ekhaya and all that. And then on the day yokuhlaba ke ngizohlaba. And then also 7 days after that, so it's 21 days all in all, where I abstain from sexual relations. So the lady was just otherwise about it, because one, I cannot slaughter city when you're not married. Even when you're married, you cannot slaughter inyama yomsebenzi wakini, whereby you still have a scent of a woman. A woman cannot be cooking utshwala, cannot make that, what is it called? Ibizwa umqombothi ngesilungu.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Sogampia. Yeah.
Yeah, umuntu wesimame cannot do that. Goguti, they have a scent of a man, so they also have to, stay off. So it's that 21 days. So when I told her for 21 days, there's not going to be, she thought I'm cheating and what. And this is the case that gets to happen very often. And I do talk about these things from the beginning. And with the rituals that get to happen, even when I'm going to go home, when I used to stay in my own place, if I'm going to go home this coming weekend, so from Friday would be the last day that I have sexual relations. And then this whole week, I'm not until the Friday I go home. So when I go home, I have to be me. I have to be clean. So they would take it as if, I'm cheating. So these are part of the culture shocks that I've gone through. There are more, but yeah, these are just part of it.
Yeah.
The most one would be the polygamous relationship, the polygamous marriage. I mean, that's the one thing that gets to be like, I won't be part of that. So yeah, that's what I wanted to explain to Sis Lebone and Unagosis girl with the gap. Traditionally, as traditional men, when we ask for marriage, we don't ask, will you marry me? We ask for your hand in helping us to ukuvusa lakithi. Ngicela ukuthi uzonginceda ngivuse ikhaya lakithi. So that means I have certain responsibilities under the surname, and I need someone to help me with those responsibilities. So if my father passes on, his responsibilities are mine as a son. And that's how, as boys, we are raised by our fathers. That whatever it is that he's taking care of when he's no longer there, they fall on me. So I asked you to come help me to be part of this family and, help me to take care of these responsibilities of this family. So that's what was happening with that guy. Unfortunately, his father passed on while he was still in courtship. Had this had happened after marriage, would Girl with the Gap left? So that's the question that I had. But I'll go to the comments.
Before you go, I think Girl with the Gap wants to. Okay, Lebone, then Girl with the Gap. I think they want to respond to you, and then yeah, Lebone.
Yeah, I totally understand cultures and all of that. Although with us, we don't really practice in some of the things that happen in our culture, but we still do respect it. Like you said, when we have family gatherings, there's that one cousin who's designated to make the beer, and he also abstains from doing fornication, regardless of whether it's a party or it's a funeral. Every time he has to, when he knows that he has to make the beer, he abstains. Bobo. And then also another thing in the Tswana culture, right? When the person that you had a child with passes away, there's because wait, let me explain it regarding two people who are married, right? When you are married to a Tswana man and the man passes away, they are, you have to, like, your family members, right, could be your daughters, your sons, whatever, they have to go to a traditional healer to go get you, um there's medicine that you have to drink, right? That you brew and stuff. And then they tell you that you are not allowed to raise your voice for 6 months or drink alcohol for 6 months, or like um when you, let's say when you go shopping or whatever, when 6 o'clock ga ya tshwanela go chaela o le ko strateng. I don't know if you
Yeah.
understand what that means. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, you're not allowed. And if you have, like, let's say you live at a T junction, the water that you basically they cleansed you with, you're supposed to scatter that water at the T junction. That way it will allow you to move freely. But then still, even if you move freely, 6 o'clock ga ya tshwanela go chaela o le mo strateng, right? And then you drink that type of medicine for 6 months, right? And then we have to go back to the traditional healer to go get you another type of medication that will also, like, because also you're not allowed to eat anything that was inside of an animal, so intestines, livers, whatever, you're not allowed to eat them for 6 months once your husband passes away. And then once go nna le dikapolo, that's when now you can do all those things again. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
And
Okay.
then yeah, so that whole process happens for a year. That's if you were married to the man. And then
Mm.
if you had a child with the man and you were not married to him, you also have to do the same thing, but it will only happen for 6 months instead of the whole year, because it is believed that once the person passed away, he's gonna encourage you to come and follow him, so meaning that you're also gonna pass away or whatever. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I wanted to explain.
All right. Thank you so much, Lebone. Stick around.
Thank you.
The Black Mentals will come and respond. We're gonna go to Girl with the Gap,
All
then
right.
Zola, and then we come back to the conversation again. Girl with the Gap.
Hi, Flo. I don't think we've ever interacted.
Sorry.
No, I'm saying I don't think I've ever interacted with Black on the platform. I'm always in the comments.
Okay. Yes. Let's go.
So just two things. He mentioned how I would have responded within the marriage. I think that would not happen to me personally, because I would not let such things slide during the courting stage, especially given the fact that I normally do date people who are not of my cultural background. So I try and ascertain as much as I can where they come from, what their expectations of me are, before I jump into that situation. Secondly, I did mention like the child-free side of me. So I personally, I don't want children, and it comes with the responsibilities that I don't want to carry. And so having then been pushed into that, because now this man has 4 siblings who will now become my children, and obviously there's that added expectation of him wanting me to bear his children. That would have automatically been too much for me, given that where I come from also personally, economically we are okay. His side, Just to add on, he's the only one working. His siblings are in varsity. His mother is a stay-at-home wife. His brother's kids are relying on him. So whatever little he's making, he has to consider all of these people. So now not only would I be compromising, I would then be giving up my liberties and my freedom, my financial independence to then take care of this whole nation. I don't even do that for my own mother. She's okay. So then to expect someone to do that, for me, it's a hard ask. I don't come from such a setup, and therefore I cannot take on that burden. It's for someone else.
Interesting. Thank you so much. Go with the cap. I think we will come back. Let's hear Zola. How are you, sir? Zola, you're still mute if in case you're speaking. Zola? Right, we can skip Zola. Black mentalist, come through. I think you wanted to respond to Lebo. Oh, Lebon, sorry.
Yes, Tiliban. Yes. That reason, that last reason that she mentioned on when one parent of the child dies, what happened? I mean, passes on, what happens? That whole ceremony, it is done so that to cleanse what we call istunzi. It's not a shadow as such, but you know that spiritual bond and connection with the other parent, because of one of the other reason that I mentioned, and the second one is that they can come and fetch you. You would follow them because they don't see you around them and they are attached to you. They want to be with you. They want you to belong with them and then belong with you. So that's one of the main reasons why we don't like, especially the Southern African. I know of more of Southern African tribes and cultures that they don't allow someone who is not married to the other parent to attend the funeral of that parent. Meaning AmaZulu, AbeSuthu, abaTswana, AmaSwati, they it was it traditionally it's something that is not allowed. And what she has just mentioned also within that reasoning, where they also get cleansed with certain herbs, they go through that. And if, let's say for an example, baby mama passes on and I go to the funeral, when I come back, first my family has to cleanse me from being to the funeral of that person that is not even related to my ancestors, because they did not take her in as a wife. She basically helped in having a child. We both have a child together. However, she's not attached when it comes to the ancestors with my family. So I have to be cleansed for that first. Secondly, I have to be cleansed with the fact that the person that I was with is still attached with me spiritually. So now that's two cleansing processes. Now the cleansing process of a widower is, it's a must within us. It's a must that happens, and that's the one that is most famous that we get to know of. They normally get to hide the one of the baby parent, because having a child out of wedlock, it's ihlazo. So they don't see that, they don't praise that to at that point, or to that point, or when they're doing the cleansing, they inform other people. For an example, we still, even my family, like when you have a child out of wedlock, we don't do a baby shower for you, because we see a baby shower as a celebration. So we don't celebrate a child that is born out of wedlock, because we don't celebrate. No, when I say we don't celebrate the child, I mean we don't celebrate the act of having a child out of wedlock. We do celebrate the child when the child comes, but we don't celebrate the act of having a child out of wedlock. So there is no baby shower. Baby showers are only for those who are married. And one of my cousins actually broke up with his with his girlfriend because of that. There was no baby shower, and he mentioned why he won't be involved in doing the baby shower, because what he had committed with having a child out of wedlock is a sin, even culturally. And we are not religious people at all, yeah, like I.
Interesting. I wanted to ask a question, Black Mentalist, on something that you mentioned earlier on, that in your family you are the designated person or Tlabayo. Is there any reason that is done? that you're at liberty to share?
So, to be honest, I think ngakhethwa.
Okay.
When I was a kid, when I was a child, there's certain people from the family that would come to me in form of dreams. Some of these people that I didn't know as a kid, and when I speak to my grandmas and my grandpaps, they would say, "Oh, this is so and so," and these are people that would want certain things to be done for them, and the messages would only come through me. It was me and one of my lady cousins, until she had a child, and then those dreams stopped. However, because it was something that was happening with me over and over, even when we have that ceremony, it would be me again who gets the message to say everything was done well, everything is right, because I see that in the dreams. And I was still young, man. So with that, they saw that I'm the one who is chosen for this. The first time this happened, it was because of kwakuhlatshwa imbuzi, and umuntu wayephethe umesa ethi uzoyihlaba yabaleka. So as it ran away, we were playing in the streets, and then I managed to ukuthi ngiyibambe. We came back with it at home, and masese ngiyibopha, it was calm. And bengeza imimese yokuthi kuzosikwa ngayibeka eduze, it was still calm. So my grandfather said, "This is the person who connects with these with the ceremony. So we are going to teach him how to do it." So I was taught. I was 11 or 12. Then I was taught how to do it, and since then nenkomo ekhaya mayingena yimina oyithakazelayo ingene yimina futhi oyihlabayo. So I would say that it was chosen. So until kuba khona omunye futhi ekhaya that will be chosen, they will do it. So there's only 3 of us ekhaya abahlabayo. My oldest uncle, his oldest son, and then me. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I guess it does make sense when you put it in a perspective of saying being chosen. And especially because then I'm assuming the slaughtering is not just a slaughtering, it's for a reason, and more than anything culturally it has to relate with ancestors and all of that. So I guess it would then make sense if that is a person who's chosen to do that. I thought it was just a skill situation that if you put it down, my guy, you go.
No, not a skill thing. And for some time between the ages of since year 2000 until 2014, I was vegetarian. Yet within those years, whenever there's a ceremony, I'm still the one who did that.
Interesting. Choices of being vegetarian, was it by your own thing, or meat was just not sitting in your stomach?
No, it was more of a, okay, they call it conscious decision. It was more of a conscious choice, with conscious decision made because of being aware of certain things about animal products into the body, and me being the spiritual person in your way with cultural stuff. At some point you have to be away from anything that bleeds for a certain time. So I got used to that, to a point I got comfortable with it, and more things that I were to do at home spiritually, I got to be, not that I was chosen through a finger to say it is you who has to do this.
Yeah.
So my grandpa would say, "Bambonisile ukuthi who has to go on with it or do whatever." And during that time, so I was the one who was mostly chosen for certain tasks.
Okay. All right. No, fully understand. Thank you so much for engaging. I guess I don't know who. Okay, the people who were there left. Girl with a gap or Lebo Konje. What was the? Someone was supposed to come back to someone here, or unless you can just bring a point that you want to bring, and we can close that conversation. Girl with a gap. Anything to say?
Nothing really from my side. I think I responded to Black. Okay, wait. No, I do have something to add. Motherfucking me. I'm here, guys. I am here. See me. See me, please.
Can they see you? Girl with a gap, please see her, please. South African brothers.
Thanks for having me.
Simbonile unemigomo nemibandela esindayo. Akafuni iy'ngane, mina ikhaya lami logcwala iy'ngane, and she doesn't want a sister wife, so she knows ukuthi ngiyinsizwa yesithembu.
Phezu kwalokho ufuna u-500K welobola.
No, actually, Black, I do want to be a sister wife, but like the one who's just me for vibes. I don't mind being a sister wife. If the first wife can give you kids, it's fine. It's okay.
Kwangwenya, we don't have a vibe, eh? Our vibe is a tradition.
Alrighty then. Thank you so much, Kelly, with the gap. Level, do you have final words that you want to say?
I just wanted to say, like, if you're not married, guys, and the person that you were with or are with now, just don't go to the funeral, because chances are there will be nobody to cleanse you. Let's just respect that part of everybody's culture, right? And also another thing, like, go with the gap, ne? I don't know why, but growing up in the primary school that I went to, people literally thought that I was an exchange student from Ghana. I don't know why. Right? And then later on, when I got to varsity, right? Nigerians thought I was Nigerian. Shona people thought I was Shona. Like, it was just the whole thing. Colored people thought I was colored. Like, I don't understand why, but I don't know if it's because I can really pull off their accent so well that they think I am one of them. Because there was a time where I was speaking to somebody who was from Zim, and I was explaining like my cultural background, the fact that my grandfather from my mom's side is also from Zim and whatnot. And then this out of nowhere, this person decides to speak in Shona with me, and I'm like, "Sir, I don't understand what you're saying." And then, like, me and my friends, we have this thing where we like communicating in like Pidgin English, which is like the Nigerian, you know.
Yeah.
And the guy from Nigeria spoke to me in Igbo, and I was like, "Sir, I do not understand what you're saying." So there's this
I
whole,
hear
and when
you.
and because in the varsity that I went to, there's this thing where you introduce like the new students to the campus. So I was basically like an O buddy
Sure.
before the schools opened. And then there was this colored girl that I would speak in the colored accent with, like, and people really thought I was colored.
Yeah, no, I guess
Yeah.
definitely could be the issue of if you have the language and the accent going, then they would think that you are one of them.
Yeah, I just think I pull it off that well that
Okay. I have a
people
question
assumed.
for you and Black Mentalists, purely just because you have a bit of reference in terms of this. The is it the Platinum Fox? It says the ex I can go to their funeral is the mother of my child only. So how do we then handle, because I think in both your presentations there was an issue of if there is a child involved. I think it was not clear, because it was clear that if there's no child, you're just jollering, listen, don't even go. But now when there's a child involved, how do we handle that element? Does the mother still go? Does the father still go for the sake of the child? Or how is that handled? You can Black Mentalists come through, and then we'll come through Lebo.
So there
Or
are
Lebo answer.
other factors that we would have to discuss first about the child, right?
Okay.
One, KwaZulu, when a child is preteen, they don't even go to a funeral. They are moved from, if there's a funeral here at home, children are moved to another granny's house, because the elders understand the trauma that comes with understanding the passing and the whatnot. So kids are told in their sleep so that they can process it and understand it. Right now, in the times that we're living in, if the child uhlengiwe, whereby the child everything was done, the damages were paid, and a ceremony was done for the child to belong to the father's surname, and the mommy passes on, there is no need for that man to go there, because he has the only relationship he has with the mother is the child. So he can let the child go. However, when the child comes back, the child will go through a cleansing. That's how it's done. Even vice versa. So when the child is going there, umuntu omdala wala ekhaya will take the child, amyise, afike asho ukuthi cha ingane ibisizwile. However, la ekhaya kwaNgwenya, we would not do that, especially when the child is preteen. When the child is in their teens, they have easier processing of such things. Then they will be told ukuthi uma wakhe, you know. And when they are told when they're still toddlers and they're told what's going on, it also gets to depend on how the child reacts to it. Maybe the child will want to be with the mom's family at that time because of the whole processing, and then we would take the child there, and then whoever ubekayile ukuhambisa ingane would come back, and then the child uzolandwa ke after the funeral, but the child will never enter the gate until the child is cleansed. So if the child akahlengwanga, let's say I paid the damages but I did not do the whole process of having to move the child's surname to my surname, that means the child uhlala kaboma wakhe, right? Since the child stays with the mother's family under the mother's surname, I do not have to go there. I will give my child support. I will talk to my child now and then. As soon as they set the date for the funeral, I stop going there. Then after the funeral, 7 days after the funeral, then I can go. Because now the family has cleansed the whole yard. Basically, their daughter has been laid to rest along with her spirit, not being attached to me. Then after, then I can get to attend to the child and give the child as much moral support as moral, emotional, and mental support as possible. But if child is born out of wedlock, the other parent does not attend the funeral of the other parent, period. Especially when that other partner is married. Let's say like in the case of DJ Zinhle, right? Now she falls under her husband's surname. She went to another house funeral. Who is going to cleanse her? Because this man should not cleanse her. This man does not cleanse her, for he was not attending something that relates to her family. Then Zinhle has to go back to her family. Her family has to cleanse her. And for that the family is going to cleanse her, how can they do a cleansing ceremony that does not belong to the surname where they pulled her into? So bazohlawuliswa, and then bese sekayagezwa futhi when she comes to her husband's family. So there's too much that will be happening.
Okay. Interesting point. Okay, everyone wants to weigh in onto this, so I'm gonna give preference to people who have not yet spoken. So Platinum Fox, come through.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning, sir. How are you?
I know I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what, Mina? I think here it's a kind of a toss up between tradition and modern way of living. You understand?
Okay.
Yeah. So, and unfortunately, a lot of us do not conform to the same traditions and customs. We are one. So, yeah, that's why it's yeah. When maybe let's say, Black, when he's laying out his traditions and customs, some of us cannot relate or find it very difficult. Like ukuthi mara, like for instance, mina ne. I said on the comments like the only person that I can go to the funeral of is like my ex. Who was a wife. Is my ex-wife. So that to me trumps like into ezibhaya, because I am there not only for me. I'm not going there for me, but for my child. We understand that because my child just lost a parent, just lost their mother. We understand. So in that moment of them going through the motions of bereavement and grief, it means a lot that one of the parent is there to show solidarity and to show love, not only to him and also to uyabona like that support. Uyabona ukuthi umntwana afile comfortable, like nothing actually trumps like a parent's support when a child is going through that emotional turmoil, because we all know that losing someone is a very emotional circumstance or situation, you understand? So if you are there, like yonke into, like umbambe ngesandla, like them uyabona paying their last respect to a parent, nawe ulapho eduze kwakhe uhamba naye eceleni kwakhe, like it's I think we downplay that, uyabona, because of culture. I know angisena nalo muntu, because now you are actually putting yourself above or first before the child. We understand that, and as a parent, I believe that your child's needs, especially mentally and psychologically, come first in every situation. So I'm going to put aside ukuthi mina angisenaye lo muntu, we are no longer together, we've been divorced for how many years and whatever, but I'm here for my child. I'm only here because my child lost a parent and they need that support structure. I believe it means a whole lot. You understand? Because I saw it firsthand when my brother passed away. We understand that he was his firstborn is not his child. He found a single mother, and he took in like his daughter. We understand, and you wouldn't even tell that it wasn't his biological daughter. He even legally adopted her, took our surname, and we understand that, bruh, like it. Oh, like when he passed away, like the support that was given to his children, all three of them, two his biological and one who wasn't, like even today, like it made them be of sound mind and not have those traumas and psychological scars. We understand that because of the support that they got. We have one, because we put in the forefront ukuthi let us make sure ukuthi they are okay, and that's what I'm going to do. If God forbid my son were to lose his mom first before he loses me, I will go to his mom's funeral, and okuningi ngizokubona after the fact. But I'll be there to support my child. I'll be there to support my kid, regardless of how old he is, even if he's in his 40s, 80s, or whatever. I'll go there to support him.
Okay, much appreciated. Thank you so much, Platinum. Zola, come through, sir.
Good morning. In fact, it's afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm superb, my brother.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah, Indaba culture is very, very sensitive. It is there to be respected and honored. However, not all Black families practice our cultures. Some people have moved to Christianity. For an example, when I married my ex-wife, she is Seventh-day Adventist, and me now I'm a Methodist, and we practice the culture Ekai. So when she was welcomed at my home, we made it very clear to her family that, listen, Lana, we're gonna practice our culture. We're gonna do things according to the Majodina family. They obeyed that and they followed it and they embraced it. Now, at her home, there was no cultural event that took place when we were doing a traditional wedding.
Yeah.
And we respected that from my side. If my ex-wife had to die before me, I will definitely attend a funeral.
Okay.
And I have no problem with families that don't practice a culture. It's their choice at the end of the day. We don't know the background, guys. to say, oh, she shouldn't have gone to AKA's funeral, etc., etc. We don't know what they practice at her home. So we cannot come here and say she shouldn't have done this, she shouldn't have done that. It's her choice at the end of the day. We must deal with it. Me personally, I do attend the funerals. If my girlfriend had to die, I will go to her funeral, but I won't sit in a mattress and I won't be a chief mourner. Because there will be other girlfriends of mine watching. So personally, I respect the culture, but at the end of the day, you chose your mundo, and let us respect that. Even if it's a culture, but let's respect each choice your mundo, because we don't know what they're practicing.
Okay. And question, I've heard this. So in a situation where you're going to the funeral, but you're not partaking in other things, you personally, would you then, in my language, barakona di pizzan. So would you be drinking whatever cleansing medicine by yourself on your own, as part of, I don't know, cleansing yourself?
Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the same thing when you move from one relationship to another. Before you get to another relationship, cleanse yourself. The problem here too, we jump from one relationship to another without even cleansing ourselves. Umangale, why am I not okay? You did not cleanse yourself. With that previous ex of yours, you were together emotionally, spiritually, and physically. There were a lot of things that you guys exchanged. A lot of liquids and whatever you guys exchanged. Now when we are jumping from X to Y, cleanse yourself. It's got nothing to do with that death. Even upila, cleanse yourself. Utanjiwe Amanda, cleanse yourself, because Uposhia is not gonna treat you good because of cleananga. You understand? We mustn't just think about cleansing just because it death kupela. A lot of things. Because when you sleep with someone, you leave it DNA in her body. That DNA is your bloodline. That DNA is your ancestors. When I am damba lamont because you're pregnant. So there's a lot of cleansing that we avoid or we're not aware of. Thanks so much, my brother.
Thank you so much, Putzala. Senzo, I think you had your hand a long time ago, but I don't know if you still have something you want to say on that.
Yeah, I kind of lost or rather forgotten what I wanted to add earlier on, but there's something that I would like a black mentalist to maybe give input on regarding situations like the one that Uzola just mentioned, where as the guy you have, or rather you are in a relationship with someone, and then normal getting married, right? You've paid for everything, went through all the hopes culturally, right? Because we know ukuthi ngokwesintu there is ayikho divorce, right? So in future, if she and I happen, say for example, Lebone, if Lebone and I were married, and then it happens that we then break up, and do I then still attend a funeral of my ex-wife, or not? As I don't know, maybe. Yeah, please, please, mentally, just touch on that, because when it comes to, I think I'll stand on this point. When it comes to the boyfriend and girlfriend part, as a boyfriend, angidingeki emagcekeni entombini masishonile. Angidingi culturally, ngiyowenzani, ngazi bani khona, because the only person that I knew is this one person that has left. So please, mentalist, touch on that quickly, put.
So yeah, I wanted to speak on that. So let's start here. Boyfriend and girlfriend, there is no ancestral relation. So, and when I say these things, I'm not saying that people should do as I say, or they are obligated or must do as I'm mentioning these cultural things. I am saying that culture says this. So it's up to you if you practice culture or you do otherwise. So girlfriend and boyfriend have no ancestral relation. So when that person passes on, you just go cleanse because of that soul tie. Now, someone umkhiphela ilobolo umlobokazi. When umlobokazi or when the partner of umlobokazi passes on, remember we're already done with the lobol. Now it is to the families to sit down and say, does she still want to marry into this family? If we have a younger brother or an older brother who is not married and she's interested in staying in this family, she would say yes. And then they will choose within those brothers. Right? If she says no, then amalobolo ayabuya, provided they don't have a child. If they already have a child, amalobolo awabuyi. And she does not attend that funeral. She has to be cleansed. Now, the third part, the marriage one, umalokazana, the one who is fully married. Uthelwe ngenyonga kaSjwana kaMatlhabiso. So the part of Matlabiso, now there's a part that they don't do, which is the nyongo part. Matlabiso was actually the part where Baba utshela ka nyongo. So with that, it's already a spiritual bond. You will never be divorced. You may be divorced in the court with this person, but you will never divorce them when it comes to this ancestral plane. So much that when the wife who was married divorced and then she moves on, when she passes on, whoever that is she's with, that person has to call the first husband and say, ithambo lakini lingishiyile. Basically, the person of your ancestors has passed on. Then as her husband, I come fetch her. I'm the one to bury her because she's already been introduced to my ancestors. So when I lay her to rest, she's going to my ancestors plane. She's no longer going to her family's plane because she was taken out of her family, Watelwa Ngenyong, to be of this family. So even with the husband, if the husband is divorced and he moves on and he passes on, sorry, wherever he is, that wife, if she has moved on, she needs to be called in to come and sit on the mattress for that man, because that is her husband even in the ancestral plane. So that is why we say we don't have divorce when it comes to traditional marriages. And now people speak of that it can be done. There's a ceremony that is done to separate. No, there is no ceremony done. Whoever that says that, they are starting their own new tradition. They are speaking of their own tradition of now they want to break what was. And there's no one who has ever gotten approval or to say it was approved by the ancestors. All we know is how we do it. So if you're married, can't divorce. When you pass on, your partner, your husband is the one who's going to lay you to rest. If it's the husband that passes on, you're going to have to go back to his family to sit on the mattress for him until he's laid off to rest.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna handle this. Thank you, Black Mentalist. I'm gonna ask a question, and then Zola also has a question, but I also want to give Serene an opportunity. For me, in what you've just mentioned, it's tricky because if a woman could be taken from her family's home and ancestors into your family's home and ancestors, how can she be taken out to go somewhere else? So we're saying that if her husband passes away, another person comes and marries her, wouldn't she then be taken from that family into the new husband's family? Even so, ancestrally so. Don't answer it as yet. Reminiscence on it. Zola, was that your exact question? I'm assuming. Was it your same question, Zola?
The question, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
My question was, you were not new guy. You married your wife. She was married before, right? Are you now going to wash her again with another nyongo to welcome her to your new family or to her new home? Because this thing is confusing. This closure business for me is confusing because you're marrying her. Probably she was married before. Nimkwaze, nimdlise inyongo, and do all the cultural events that need to take place. So are you saying to me, oh, hold on a minute, it's okay, she didn't have closure from her first wedding. It's okay to, aren't you going to confuse the ancestors, Lana? The first wife, I mean, the first husband and the second husband. What's going on, Lana, guys? Somebody's going to be confused somewhere. Thanks.
Okay.
Before we move to Serene, could you please give Black a chance to respond to this? And yes, I did write on the comments as well that we were actually referring to the Zulu cultures in case some people get confused. And he mentioned that also Botswana, Maswati, Ndebele, and Basotho also practice the same. But let's give him a chance to respond to your questions.
All right. So, come to Black.
It is exactly as how Zola just mentioned it. I love what Zola just said, because when you're only introduced to the other ancestors only once. That also happens with the child. The reason why in the old days they would say that if you have a child out of wedlock, you leave the child at home and then you go get married if you're a woman, and if you're a man, you go with your child, you go marry with your child, because the child already carries your surname. So the person is only introduced once to other person's ancestors. So ukuthelwa ngenyongo, what is it called? Bile. I think in English it's called bile.
Yeah.
Gallbladder. Yeah. Ukuthelwa ngaleyo nto, it's because there is a certain tree that goats eat, and that tree unites the living and the ancestors, which is also the tree that we use when we're going to lay someone to rest. Sithi ihlahla. So when they use that bile on you, when they anoint you with the gallbladder, or with the acid inside the gallbladder, they are uniting you to their ancestors, which means they've accepted you. Now you don't have any other family. Even your family is no longer your family. That is why when you go to traditional weddings in KZN or in these places that we mentioned, you will see they take the plate you used to eat in and they break it, as so to cry and mourn you as a child being gone to another family, because you are going to be part of that family. That is why when we call on Bonghono, the grannies and the grandfathers, those grannies are not grannies that were born in this family. These are grannies that got married to this family, so they become our ancestors. So as soon as she marries me, as soon as Lebone marries me, she's no longer part of her family. She's no longer part of her ancestors. She's part of my ancestors. So much that when she passes on, when they call her in a family, she's not going to rise. But she's going to rise when they burn incense in my family, because she's part of that. So getting divorced, now you are going to be anointed with another bile. That bile is not working. If you've been anointed with more than one bile because of marriage, it does not work. You still belong to the first family. What's even worse is that you are actually upsetting the new family ancestors, because when you get in, they can tell you smell of that anointing from that family. So you need to go back to your family.
Okay. All right. Pretty interesting. It's for me, and I'm just being completely technical about it, to just say if someone can be moved from where they were born into another person's family or ancestral plane, the fact that that is even possible, then it should be possible to move to another one, as long as whatever processes are then being followed. As far as I understood and what I've heard before is that the new guy who's marrying a widow will have to pay ilobola to the first husband's family, not her family, because we understand that she belonged now to the second family. Yeah, so then she would then have to be moved from here to this side. So yeah, so that's why I'm like, how is it that the moving only happens once and not as many times as it needs to happen, as long as there is a process and an understanding.
KG, can I quickly add on to something? Don't mind this girl. She always wants to be heard.
What was
Wow,
that?
that was a little bit
she
shocking.
she is I don't know what to call this, but she's playing with her
No, now I
spits
understand
and
what she's doing. But when
yeah.
you just came in, I was like, wait, why are we hearing lions and stuff? Like, okay.
I just wanted to say, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
This is why I tell people, Sugar, Emma Bailey.
Yeah.
This is why I always tell people, right? Never, like, you know how girls always want to meddle in someone else's marriage, right?
Okay.
This is why I always tell people, don't meddle in someone else's marriage, because it's not just the physical aspect of the marriage. A marriage is a union between ancestors, right? Now, when a third party comes and meddles into these people, and then they forget, no, it's not just a unity between two people, it's a unity
Yeah.
between ancestors as well, right? And now you wonder, why are my things not going well, Keloile or something? It's because you meddled into someone else's marriage. And obviously, that person's ancestors is not going to be happy because now a third party has entered into this thing and broke it. That's why, like, I always advise my friends, if a married man approaches you and says, yes, I have a wife, but I want you to consider the traditional aspect of this person's marriage, right? Because then you're going to wonder, what is going on with me? What is going on in my life? Why are my things not moving how they used to move? And you forget that you entered someone else's ke ba e bitsang magege or something like that. Yeah. Now you've caused a whole imbalance in the whole thing. And obviously now they're going to start fighting you, regardless of whether these two people are gonna get divorced or whatever. Like people my age
Yeah.
really don't consider the spirituality of a marriage and all of these things. And I keep telling my friends, like, do not
Yeah.
accept a married man. It's not gonna work well for you. If anything, it will end in tears, hurricanes, monsoons. It will end very badly for you.
I think also it's because young people don't want to listen, and they are also not being taught some of these things. So it's a bit of a tricky
Exactly.
situation. I think Shireen has been waiting for such a long time. Please, let's give her an opportunity to speak. Hello, mommy. How are you? Unmute. You're still mute. Please unmute yourself.
Sawubona, everyone.
Hello. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you, guys. Well, hello, everyone in the audience. Hello, in the boxes. How are you guys?
Thank you,
We
ma'am.
can. Thanks.
Morning, Serene. Good.
Okay, morning, beautiful. I was married to a Swazi, and a traditional Swazi that grew up in the mountains in Swelini, and I was from Durban. And I'm telling you, even though he was colored, he was very Swazi, black Swazi, very. They done traditions. They boiled the blood and poured took the blood from the cow as the cow gets slaughtered and all that stuff. All those traditional things. They had sangomas come when someone dies and all that. So they can't call themselves colored. They were actually black people. They weren't colored. So it was very hard for me to understand anything. I was the large Makoti in the family, right? And they just expected me to know this culture that I had no idea what the hell was going on. I mean, imagine me as an outsider looking in. Then I'm told I must serve when there's a funeral. I had to get up I had to come at 5 in the morning and serve the aunties, the uncles, the cousins, everyone, day and night till midnight. Whatever they say they want, I had to run and do it. I wasn't allowed to backchat. I wasn't allowed to say no. If I said no, I was sworn or told off or whatever, and I was not allowed to speak. for myself. And I hated it. I honestly hated it because I didn't know what was going on. And every time they done anything traditional at funerals and stuff, they never explained, guys. Oh, we cook in the blood. We must eat this blood because someone died or whatever. They don't explain. They just not done anything. And I was like, when the Sangomas arrived for the funeral, there were 3 Sangomas. They were doing these traditional dances and hitting the ground with sticks. And then, I didn't know what the hell's going on, guys. I'm thinking it's witchcraft. You understand? You know? Being an
Yeah.
outsider. So
Yeah.
it's very difficult, intercultural relationships. It's very, very difficult, guys. Very difficult. And why do
No.
people of other cultures, when they marry you, they just expect you to know? How the hell do you just know when you're not from that culture?
Yeah.
Maybe other people's relationships are different here in the boxes. I don't know. But they didn't play Lobola for me, guys. That's a good one. They said, oh, no, I'm not Swazi, but everyone else got Lobola.
That is weird.
Yes, everyone else got Lobola in the family because they married blacks, all of them, except one guy and my husband. So I was the
And
only one
yeah.
that didn't get Lobola. Lobola, didn't it? Lobola.
Yeah, Lobola, yeah. So are you saying the other guy who did not marry black, did he also Lobola or not?
He did pay a lot of money towards his Indian wife,
Yeah.
like a Lobola. He
Okay.
paid for education and everything. My ex paid for squat, nothing. You know, but I must follow the culture, the tradition, Kanti, but she never paid Lobola for me. You understand?
Wow. Wow. So even the family did not make the effort to then teach you this culture, if you are now part of them.
No. Every time I didn't understand something, I was sworn at or told off or belittled. And he would just stand there
Wow.
as they swore me and they belittled me. He would just
So
stand and let
sorry.
them tell me off and, stuff like that, guys. And then he
Yeah.
told me it's our culture. My aunt is allowed to swear you and that I'm not allowed to comment because
Yo.
it's my auntie.
Yeah,
You
no,
understand?
that's
I don't know, guys,
yeah.
if that's allowed or not, guys. Please correct me. Because that's what happened to me.
I can say from the get go, it's not. It's supposed they sometimes certain things are hidden behind culture, or people hide behind culture even when they are ill-treating another person and things like that. So you might then walk out thinking, oh, this is how black people do things, or this is how Swati people do things, whereas when you then sit with other Swati people, they're like, no, that was wrong, it shouldn't have been done that way, this is the way it's supposed to have been done, right? So I really don't understand what was the whole dynamic there. There may have been, so for example, if for whatever reason you are needing to be told off, I don't know why would that be the case, but you're an adult, you're supposed to be set down and certain things be explained. This is how we do things and whatever the case. And I think someone spoke to it, if I'm not mistaken, it was Black. He said that when you get married into a family as a wife, it is now the responsibility of the females who also got married into the family, and some, if there are, that belong to the family, to teach you the ways of that family, of the cultural everything, because it then becomes your responsibility as a wife to teach your children the traditions of your husband. So you can't just fall from a tree and know how these things are done. Things needs to be taught, needs to be explained and done very well, because any little mistake gets carried down with your children and every other child that goes down, that you will have to teach these things. So I think the way things were done, just from what you've mentioned, a lot of things were off there. And I think you did say that you were not lobola. I don't know how you are not lobola and you're taken still as a wife and they're supposed to be traditional. that doesn't match. So yeah, I can only apologize for having gone through such a traumatic thing. I hope that it didn't leave a bitter taste in terms of you trying outside of your cultural lines. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
all I
mean,
can
it
say at the
did,
moment.
it did. I told my daughter never intermarry a different culture after what I experienced. Never.
Ah,
Rather
man.
stick with your own culture because it was hell. Serious. I mean, guys, I had to serve these people all the time, and I wasn't allowed to talk back. They would just tell me straight, "Oh, I'm wishing for curry and roti now. Go and make." "Oh, I'm wishing for this. Go make." "Oh, I want tea. I want this," the whole day. And everyone else just sits. His sisters just sat there and got served by me. And that's how it went all those years. And I was basically told I'm the large Makoti. I must just do whatever they tell me. You know?
Yeah. Listen, also, there is some of the things that you're mentioning do happen in terms of, how would I put it? I don't even think I'm qualified. Black or Lebo Zola, maybe you could explain to her, maybe give a picture of how would Umakoti basically do things at Kaya as part of her learning the way things are done in the household that she's married in. Someone please assist with that because I don't think I'll do it
I
justice.
Hi, can
I
I
just
come in
wanted
with
to
that
say,
as a
All
husband?
right.
Can I come in
Okay.
as a husband and from the men's point of view?
Okay.
My
We'll go
ex-wife,
with
yeah.
Zola and then we'll come to Lebu, please.
When my ex-wife came to my home to perform her duties of umakoti, Mina, I briefed her, Bana baby, this is what is going to happen. This is how it's going to happen. This is where I will protect and defend you. If I see that there are some cousins of mine who are now taking advantage of umakoti. You understand? I drew the line, Mina. Yes, she did serve the elders, but when it came to my younger cousins trying to take advantage, I said, enough is enough. That's it. She's done her job. I guess she's not available. You know, it's a man's duty to explain to his partner, Mina, I'm a traditionalist. This is what we do, Ekai. This is what we don't do. Or vice versa. Partner, we are Christians, Ekai. We don't do it culture. We don't practice it culture. Your man failed you, my sister, to explain these things to you, to defend you. Because he should have defended you if he saw that Yazini, this is no longer a culture now. This is an abuse. It is a man's job to defend his wife. Also, the wife can also defend the husband. Example, kumalobola negotiations. The girlfriend of yours can whisper to her uncles, but malume, my husband is earning this, or we are busy with this project. Please don't abuse him when it comes to ilobola. So it plays both parts where you guys defend each other because there are hyenas out there. There are vultures out there. Your job is to defend one another rather than keep quiet and say, no, 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 it's a once-off thing. Defend him, defend her. Thank you.
Thank you
Oh,
so
you're
much,
such a
Zola.
good husband. Wow. Wow.
All right. Let's hear Lebo's or Lebone's response to you from, I guess, female perspective, if it's so. Come to Lebone.
okay, I'm not married, right?
Yeah.
But I witnessed with my mom, ne, when my grandmother is the type of person whereby my grandmother from my dad's side, right? She's the type of person to tell us everything about the Xhosa culture, right? So she explains everything from what happens to in like in the process of a marriage, and in like just anything in general to do with the Xhosa culture, right? But then there are these people, these women who got married into the family, and they would always bully my mom. You know what I'm saying? And they would do it in a way that my dad wouldn't see it or my grandmother wouldn't see it. Because if my grandmother and my dad would witness it, obviously they came to the defense of my mom, right? And I took it upon myself to defend my mom. right? For example, years ago, I don't remember if I was still in high school or I was starting varsity or what was going on. But then um my we went to a family gathering, right? And because it was a family gathering, my parents and I and my sister decided that we were going to color coordinate our um
Outfits.
outfits, right? So my mom went, we all wore blue jeans, but then me and my dad wore a black shirt, and my mom and my sister decided to wear pink shirts, right? So we get there, and then we go greet the elders of the family, right? So we greet everyone, it's all nice, it's la di da. And then my sister and my dad step out, right? So I remain in the house with my mom and all of these elders, right? Now, this woman who got married into the family as well decided that she was going to be rude to my mom and tell her and ask her, "Why are you wearing pants? You're not supposed to be wearing pants. You're a makoti in this house, blah, 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 in this family." And I'm like, "Excuse me, ma'am, you are also a makoti, and I don't think you were justified in shouting at her. You could have taken her to the side respectively and told her, listen, this is not how we do things here, right?" Because now she was forced to take off her jeans and she was given a skirt and she was forced to do it. And I was like, and I'm like, there's no way you're gonna force my mom into doing this. And then she was like, no, it's okay, I'll just wear the skirt. But with me, I felt some type of way because why do you wait for my grandmother and my dad to step outside and then want to bully my mom? It doesn't work that way, you know? And that's what I've always told people in my family, that you're not going to disrespect my mom in any way as long as
Yeah.
I'm around.
I hear you. I disagree with a number of things there, but it's fine. I think Black Mentalist
I
has been
think
raising his hand.
let me just clarify. Like with me, like it's so much. It's not it's not it's not what you say. It's how you say it for me, right? I
Okay.
don't mind that. Okay, yes, she has to wear a skirt when it comes to like family stuff, when we're gathered as a family and all of that. But just how you say it for me is just where it's off, because I do not take
Yeah.
disrespect well, even if it's not from me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I hear you. Mute so long, and let's go to Black Mentalist. And guys, in as much as this has been a wonderful conversation, 1:30, we need to close it up, right? Black Mentalist, and then we'll give a ton of grace, I believe. Come through, sir.
Thank you. I want to start by agreeing with Ubudzola and say 100%. You know, families get to abuse culture and tradition, and when you stand outside and see how they do it, as how do they treat the girls that were born in this family and how the girls in this family behave, it shows you exactly if they are really cultural people. I'll give you an example from my family. When
Yeah.
a girl already has a child and she's not married, like Aya, she does not sit with married women, no matter how young, no matter how old. If my older sister is 35 and she's not married, she cannot give order to my wife. The only people that will give order to my wife are those who are married. And the type of order that they give her should be the order that fulfills what is to be done here today at home. Now, in what Sisi, her mom went through, maybe the shouting was incorrect. I would say that the shouting was incorrect. However, the other Magoti waited for the father and the grandma to get out so that it is it also builds this kind of of trust and relationship to say, if I shout for you for your wrongs in front of them, they will end up now eyeing you, and now they look into the details of the wrongs that you are doing. Now, I as a makoti seeing you that you are doing something that's not right, I will correct you in our own space. It's like in our relationships, when I fight with my partner, I don't go and tell my father what's going on, because it will make him look at her and say, she's not respecting my son. Even after me and my partner forgive each other, to my father, it will still reflect as she lacks respect. So this was a makoti to makoti. Now, the other thing that I would like to advise you, Siswam, if you're not married, don't ever step up to marriage business. When your mom is going through whatever that she's going through in her marriage, observe it, learn from it. Do not step up to it, because one, you're a child. No matter how old you may be, you are not married, you were born in this family, so you are a child. There's certain things that you won't do in this house because you are a child, and there's certain things that your mom has to do in this house because your father asked him to marry him to help him with the responsibilities of the sending. Now, in the case of the lady, I didn't get your name, ma'am.
Oh, sorry, man. Serene.
Serene. Now,
Yeah.
in your case that you were not defended, that is totally wrong. Also, in the case that you got married traditionally, but there was no lobola, that is totally wrong. Now, in the case of you being the eldest makoti and being told this is what you do, this is what you do, remember that when you get married, bayagyala, what is it called in English? They give you the pros and
Rules and
cons. Yeah,
regulations.
the rules and regulations as to a makoti
Yeah.
here does, this is how. Those things will not be finished in one day. Some of the things you
True.
get to learn them as you go.
Yeah.
Now, what was need to be done, part not by your husband, but by his mom, was to sit you down and say that we are going to have a ceremony. You are responsible for 1, 2, 3, 4. And you have to sit down and ask, why are we doing this? As Makoya has said, that you also have to lay this down for your children, because if your man passes on, who's going to carry on tradition? His sons. How are the sons going to understand the tradition? Through you. Without you, the sons are not going to understand the tradition. Remember, he's the lawmaker, you are the law enforcer. Because now you got into this family that already has its own laws. Now you are the law enforcer. So a lot of people, I think when it comes to tradition, man, there's so many dynamics that we don't question. We only get to question them when they happen at that time. The one thing that I learned, especially with traditional people, it's don't ask the question when the process is happening. Note it somewhere, come back and ask, why were we doing this? And then you get to be informed why you were doing that. Also, as Omakoti, anyone who is a Makoti here, understand this. You don't have to dish out for your husband's younger brother who is not married. You don't have to dish out for your older brother, for your husband's older brother who is not married. You don't have to dish out for anyone who is not married, except the elders that he calls mama, malume, and malumekazi, auntie. You know, those ones who were born in this family, you are to help them and assist them. But the first person you dish out for is the married one, or you serve to, is the married ones. The married ones are the ones that, because you are also married, so it is basically, what is it called? It's called the fair trading. They went through this, you understand this, and you are also going to teach this to the next makoti. And there are certain things that you don't do as a makoti. There's certain things that women who are not married are not to do. When we are sitting there, like for an example, Tina Mazulu, when we are sitting there as men, and I'm your husband, you want to talk to me, you don't walk up to those men, because these men don't have to see you. You send a boy to say, you can actually send my older brother who is not married and say, can you please call me your brother? He's sitting there by Isbayeni. And he will come and say, umama osendlini uyakubiza, then I would stand up, when he says the missus is calling you, I will stand up and attend to you. So people get to abuse culture because the people that they marry do not understand the culture that they are married to. However, when you ask questions, never ask questions during the practice, rather ask them prior the process or after the process. And when I say the process, I don't mean after marriage or after everything has been done. There's certain things that he will remember to tell you, there's certain things that he will forget. But those things like eating that cooked blood, they have their reasons. So it's for you now, after you have eaten it, and say, my love, what was the reason for this? And if he shouts at you, you say, no, I am to also lay this information to my children, to our children, so that we understand. So yeah,
All right.
that's how it works.
Thank you so much, Black Mentalist. Phew, a lot. So, Lebo, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to ask your question now, but it won't be addressed. Then we'll move to a ton of grace, then Dean, and then I'm sure Serene, and then we close. Ask your question, Mama.
All right.
Lebone?
So I have a child out of marriage, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to know, how does it happen in other cultures? Like when you're not married, right? With me, because I'm not married, I had to come back home so that I take care of her and raise her and all of that. And obviously he's still in the picture as well. And yeah, it's all nice, So I just wanted to know, you know how they say, obviously you're not allowed to show your child for 3 months and all of that. You can't get visitors and all of that. Does that include the father of the child, because we're not married? Because when with the whole thing, right? The father of my child was allowed to be with me during the whole my birth process. So he was there because I didn't give birth in a traditional hospital. I was in a, what do you call this? A birth center. So he was allowed to come. He was encouraged to come because my dad wasn't going to, be there, yeah, to see all that thing happen. So he was allowed to come, and he was also allowed to be on the birth certificate, but she took my surname, obviously, because we're not married, right?
Okay.
So his family had a problem with the fact that he was there during the birth situation, and he had to physically be there, obviously, to sign papers when he was written onto the birth certificate on all of that. So I want to know, like, how does it happen in other cultures? Is it still the same way of he's not allowed to see the child for
Okay.
3 months and all of that? Because
All
it's
right.
really confusing for me.
Okay. Did he do culturally what's supposed to happen once he has made you pregnant?
Yes, he did.
Okay, cool. That's fine. I think that's the detail we need. Ton of Grace, Dean, and then we close up.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much.
Afternoon. Sorry for waiting for so long.
No, it's
Hey,
fine.
it's
I've
been
been
going on.
listening.
Yes.
I've been listening
Okay.
intently.
Okay.
It's strange, Libone. There's Inklaulo, which you mentioned was done. There's paternity that was also done. So there's quite a few things that could be an issue there, Libone, but that's just me thinking out loud to your question. Now, to come back to the conversation for today, I am currently going through a divorce, right? I will say that our cultures were different. Even though I'm black, I was never raised in a traditional way. We never did imisebenzi at all, completely. All right. And he comes from a very, very traditional family. Did it end in tears? Yes. Who did it end in tears for? And I'm gonna address this to the ladies. It ends up in tears for the women, not the men. Any relationship, especially marriage, is spiritual. Even though we need to have the conversations about finances, what, I'm in agreement that when you meet somebody and you see that it is going well, is serious indaba. You need to be you need to come on one page when it comes to your beliefs. What do you believe? You know, what are we doing here? Because for me, it didn't work. From the time he didn't pay lobola, he had an introductory meeting, which was to say, and we did the 6 years after we were married. So we went to Home Affairs, we did our own thing. It was young love. We were like, hey, with the it thing, Bonnie and Clyde. And then 6 years after the fact, I was like, dude, our parents don't know each other, literally. They would probably pass each other on the street because we were just living our lives. So they decided to banglise.
Okay.
Now, prior to that, obviously the uncles came. This is our son. Firstly, they dictated the price of ingomozam, which is unheard of, right? His argument was, my wife is looking after her family. That is another conversation that we need to have in conversations. If you are a partner who is looking after your family, you need to have the conversation, because I believe it was either Uput Sola or Uput Black who was saying, traditionally with the ceremony that is done for you, you literally move away from your family. But now, even though baktatile, if you are a breadwinner, kokwenu, that conversation also needs to be hosted. That conversation needs to be interrogated, and from both families, so that there is an understanding about, listen, when there's something happening with umama, with my sister, I have to get up and I have to do, all right? There was a traditional ceremony that was done to unglisa. So mina, I was umakoti, all right? They slaughtered for me, and I can tell you that is where the problems started for me. From the moment they did that ceremony, even my hair stopped growing. Okay? Like literally, true story. There are certain things that ebomini, it doesn't matter how much you love a person, azivumelani nawe. They don't agree with you. And it doesn't matter what you do, you can't change that. A fact is a fact, which is why I was talking about the spiritual implications. With this divorce that that we are currently on, he has subsequently met a new wife. Yesterday, she was being accepted as umakoti, okay, into the new family. And you know that ceremony requires slaughtering to happen. I do apologize. There was somebody who actually mentioned and said there are no solutions that are offered to people who are coming back, who have done certain traditional practices and uyabuya. When I asked my husband, Dati, so what needs to happen with me, Kengogo? He simply said to me, umama uyakhulula. We had lost a child in the marriage, and I said, ngubani ozothetha umntana oxela umntana ba I'm no longer here. And he said, my sister will go ebuhlanti othetha. Now here's the thing. Fast forward years later, I mean, we've been separated since end 22, December 2022. I still dream about that family. I still know what's going on in that family with all the dreams that I have. I still get sick when there's a traditional ceremony that's taking place at my husband's home. I will get physically ill. That's how we know. Sithi sifuna, no, kuyasetyenzwa. And then I'm like, that's what it is. So I need people to understand that once abantu abaphansi go, ungo wetu, umakoti wetu, they legit, they walk with you. They walk with you. They walk with you. And like I said, nobody is coming forth and saying, okay, Sissy, since you are still seeing what's happening. I even had an old man who told me, Mdaram, I don't know how we did this, but I don't know how, but Tina, we choose you. In dreams. We also need to talk about giftings. If you are gifted, all these things, they play a role. I think marriage is so precious, it's so special. You are so in love with the person, but the terms and conditions, kunzima kakhulu. And then Putzola, please can I just disagree on one point that I had to learn the hard way. And mind you, I was married to this man for 18 years, right? You don't ever help a man makakulobole. You don't ever. Akatelanga no by 20 rand, even if it's 20 rand. You don't say, baby, here's 20 rand so that you can lobola me. You can take responsibilities, you can take up the role for other things in the household that he was maybe handling, but to physically take your money and to physically negotiate on his behalf or step up to your family, I say because all of that comes back to you. I'm now sitting with a family that says, okay, it means I missed you, Putwam.
Let's
I'm
not
sitting,
continue.
with my family, with my family now says, we told you, look at you, you are now sitting, you are reaping the rewards. Kubetwa wena. Because that's what happens. Your ancestors deal with you. His ancestors are dealing with you because you so-called left. Regardless of who did what, Kwatini, you as a Makoti, you're expected to build and to forgive. So those ancestors are also holding you accountable for the shift that is happening with their child. Akuningi nje. Akuningi. Yeah. Sorry,
And we don't have the time.
Thank you.
We don't have the time, guys. I'm really sorry because I literally have a session at 2:00. We usually close at 12:30, but the conversation was flowing, and I don't know because there are a lot of things that came up today that even if we're going to have it another time, I don't know, there's too many topics that were discussed. Dean, help me out here.
Sanibonani bantwana bamanguni.
Hello, sir.
Siyabingelela ikhundla ingafani. Yeah, I just wanted to say, out of the respect of time, that's why I dropped originally, but
yeah,
I would really appreciate it if we could also dive a bit deeper on this. It's quite interesting that we don't allow such an opportunity to miss a lot of ears.
Yeah.
So on my side, I've been taking notes. Just taking pointers because we truly require such conversations, and not just on a marriage based point of view, but on just us being among and people that are of certain cultures and beliefs. We really need to actually dive and spread it out more so that we can understand who are we truly. And not be then mastered by the West and lose the identity of self itself. So I don't know, with KG, how we're going to do it. I'm sure you have a plan for tomorrow. If it can be shifted to the following day, please do. Because this is an interesting thing that we should not then allow to slip the ears of some people that really, really required such information.
All right. Thank you so much. I think we can surely do that. I will speak to Leroy. He's the one who will be hosting tomorrow, hopefully, and maybe let's make it a part 2. I don't know if I should term it. We'll just use the same topic. And come to A Ton of Grace, come to Budzola, come to Black Mentalist, Lebone, come to okay, my producer is saying we will discuss it, and I think let's do that. I don't think for me I would be able to come through. Let me just look at my schedule. Definitely tomorrow I won't be able to come through, but I think Leroy can come facilitate the conversation, and let's have it. It's sad that I will miss out, but I'm definitely gonna catch it on YouTube. Everyone else, our lives get recorded. We put them on YouTube. Don't worry, it doesn't show your face or your names. But yeah, so we have a library of other conversations that have been had that you can refer to. But I would like to thank every single one of you who came through and contributed. I know you had a lot to say. Let's say it tomorrow, and have these cultural differences and intercultural relationships, and let's go into it. And please, tomorrow ningayenze so ne. We are on 20K and we've been here for longer. We need to tap the screen, share the live. So tomorrow, let's jump in. I might be there in and out on the comments perhaps tomorrow. I'm also traveling. So let's just make sure that we are in tomorrow 20 past 10. Let's have the discussion. Thank you so much, Ton of Grace. Thank you so much, Budzola. Thank you so much, Black Mentalist. Thank you so much, Lebone. We really appreciate that you brought some. Whew, yeah, let's do it again tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be, I don't think the conversation will end, but we will at least try and chew as much as we can from the get-go. So have yourselves a good day. Butsenzo, I think you wanted to have something to say at last, and we can close.
Okusalayo, yekani ukuhamba ama-funerals amadodeni enganilobolile. Yekani ukuhamba ama-funerals, yekani. Yaphela lapho. Thank you guys. See you tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Cheers, guys. See you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much, sir. Let's see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys.